Adventures in time and space, told in future tense. Dimension X. Time is an interesting phenomenon. A ticking clock, the running sands of an hourglass. All these have captured the imagination of men. But time is more. It exists now, and then, and in the future. Suppose we are in the year 1950. Coexistent in time may be worlds we have never seen, the worlds of the past and of the future. The year was 1950. It was a spring night in Mexico, fiesta time. The fireworks shot up into the clear, dark sky, and a papier-mâché bull ran about the plaza chasing boys and laughing men. Mr. and Mrs. William Travis stood on the edge of the yelling crowd, smiling.
Oh, what is it, Bill? What are they saying?
They're cheering for the bull. Here he comes. He's good, isn't he? I wonder how they rigged up that fire breathing.
Oh, Bill, it's wonderful. I've never enjoyed myself so much in my life.
It's terrific. Oh, they brought the bull. Bravo, Toro!
Bravo, Toro! Oh, it will go on, won't it? I mean, our trip.
Ah, Sue, don't worry. I've enough traveler's checks for a lifetime. Relax.
But suppose they find us.
Forget it now. They haven't a chance.
But suppose they do. Suppose they take us back.
They'll never find us now. Relax. Enjoy yourself.
Oh, if it only lasts.
Come on, darling. Let's get out of the crowd. I think you need a drink.
All right. Let's try something different this time. I want to try every drink there is in the world.
Oh, don't worry, darling. There's no rush. We've plenty of time now. All right, in here. Oh, there's a table over there. Come on.
Bill.
What's the matter?
Don't look right away, but over your left shoulder, right by the end of the bar, that man.
What is it?
I saw him this morning in the plaza.
Well, darling, take it easy. The town is full of tourists.
But he was at Juarez in Tasco. Bill, I'm afraid.
Well, now, don't stare at him. Come on.
I know it's the same man. He was wearing the same white suit.
Sit down, Sue. All right, now, come on, dear. Smile. Act natural.
Bill, he's been following us. He's a searcher. I know he is.
Quiet. Oh, boy. Here, boy.
Si, senor. Si.
Benedictine and brandy. Two.
Si. Si, senor.
He's watching us, Bill.
Will you quit worrying, darling? The chances are 1 in 1,000 that they found us. Probably it's just a coincidence.
I want to lie down. I think I'm going to be sick.
Susan, hang on, will you? If he is looking for us, we can't run out. What's he doing now?
He stopped our waiter. He's asking him something.
He may just want a drink.
Bill, I can't stand it. I've got to go upstairs and lie down.
All right. As soon as we finish our drinks. What's he doing now?
Well, he's nodding at me,
Oh?
as if he knows me. And he's smiling. Bill, he's coming over here.
Now, watch yourself. We've got to go right on in front of him. So if he is what we think he is, he won't suspect.
I couldn't.
We've got to. Now, come on. So I said to David, Dave, that's ridiculous. You know that a thing as that is never going to take place.
Kristen,
What?
you did not pull up your pants leg when you sat down.
Oh, well, I'm afraid you have the wrong person. My name isn't Chrysler.
Chris 10.
No, well, I'm William Travis. I don't see what my pants leg has got to do with it.
Mind if I sit down?
Well,
Well, yes,
Everyone nowadays pulls up his pants leg when he sits down. Like this. Keeps the trousers from bagging at the knees. But, of course, if you're not used to this style of clothing...
Now, see here. We don't know you. We
don't? I'm sorry. I thought I knew you.
Look, this is our table. If you don't mind...
You see, I'm looking for 2 friends of mine. A man and his wife, very much like you. The man is an atomic scientist. The wife, a bacteriologist. Very important people. They work on government business.
Just what are you talking about?
And when I find my friends, I'm going to take them home with me.
Look here, Mr.
Sims. That will do for now.
All right, Sims. I understand that you thought you knew us. But you can see you're mistaken. Now, if you'll excuse us, my wife and I were just going up to our room. We have to make an early start in the morning.
Going for a trip? Up Acapulco, perhaps? Lovely
Never
spot.
mind where we're going.
Yes, of course. You don't like crowds, tourists. I'd probably like to get off the beaten path. You know, I've got a vacation folder here that might interest
Please,
you.
Bill, let's go.
Oh, wait, Sue.
It's put out by an outfit that calls itself Travel in Time Incorporated.
Travel in time?
Yes, they've come up with a rather intriguing idea. Would you like to actually witness the burning of Rome? Sail with Columbus in 1492 on his voyage of discovery to America? Meet Cleopatra? Then why not take your vacation in time as well as in place? But perhaps you've seen this leaflet before.
Of course not.
Then you'll be interested in hearing the rest. Travel in Time Incorporated can cost you, put you in the crowd at any place and time in history.
Look,
We guarantee to teach you any language you need to move freely in any year without risk of detection. This summer, why not escape from the worries of our modern world? Take your vacation in time.
Oh, that's impossible, of course.
But think what it would mean. A chance to escape all the tensions of an unpleasant life. War, insecurity, fear.
Sims,
Suppose you were a scientist working on a dangerous bomb project. Or you, Mrs. Travis, suppose you were a bacteriologist working on disease cultures. And you had a chance to escape all that, to take a vacation 200 years in the past. Would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Escape to a more peaceful world? A trip back to 1950?
1950. But you said a vacation in the past.
So I did. But you see, 1950 is the past if you come from the year 2155.
2155?
Mm-hmm. Terrible times, most unpleasant. A war raging, an atomic bacteriological war. Terrible times, with none of the little comforts we enjoy today, like this fine Havana cigar.
Bill, I want to go upstairs. I want to lie down.
If you were living then, think of how wonderful it would be to take a vacation in time, back to now.
Oh, you're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Suppose a young couple like yourselves took a trip to 1950 and didn't want to come back. You know what would happen? The government sends a searcher back to look for them.
This is all fantastic
The
nonsense.
searcher finds them and brings them back. Well, do you think I'll find my two friends, Mr. Travis?
Bill, please take me upstairs. I don't feel well.
Oh, is the lady feeling a bit sick? How
Here are
unfortunate.
the drinks, senor.
Well, shall we drink a toast to 2155? To the future.
Inside, quick.
Bill, what are you doing?
Shoving a chair into the doorknob.
He knows. He has been following us. Bill, he's a searcher.
You keep quiet, Sue. I want to think.
Bill, take us back.
That isn't over yet. Oh, I've got a headache.
I'll get you an aspirin. What will they do to us?
I don't know what they'll do to us. Something slipped. Something must have slipped.
But we were so careful.
Well, the searchers are trained to watch for detail. Things like not pulling up my trousers. That started him thinking. There's a man who isn't used to ancient clothes. Could kill myself for giving it away.
No. It was my walk. These high
Oh,
heels.
careful now, Ken.
Here.
Thank you.
Bill, I won't go back. I won't go on filling tubes with typhoid and bubonic plague.
Now, take it easy, Sue.
There must be some way. We don't have to go back to 2155, do we?
The nerve of that Sim sitting there looking us up and down like animals smoking those stinking cigars.
That's how I first noticed him at Tasco. He had 4 bottles of liqueurs and a pile of chocolate.
Yes, well, he still hasn't gotten over that first greedy hunger. We've got to look out for that, Sue. It's the sure sign of somebody from the future, trying to make up for a lifetime of shortages by stuffing themselves sick. Remember our first night?
Bill, I can't stand it. We've got to get out of here.
What are you doing?
Packing. Get getting the suitcases out.
That's no use, Sue.
What do you mean? We can get to Acapulco by morning.
Don't you think he's watching us?
We could get away.
No, we've got to sit tight. We've got to wait right here for a break. I don't know what, but something has got to break.
Darling. Darling, I'm afraid.
No. Maybe he isn't sure of us yet. Maybe we can still figure out some way to escape. Come on now. We better try to get some sleep.
No, I won't go back. Security police. The bomb. The bomb, it's falling. It's falling.
Sue, what's the matter? Sue! Sue, wake up, darling.
Bill,
Sue,
Bill,
wake up.
Where are we?
Shh,
Bill.
All right. Now, calm down, honey. You were dreaming. Now, it's all right.
Bill, where are we?
No, we're still in 1950. It's all right. You must have had a nightmare.
It was awful, Bill. Bill, there was an explosion, a terrible explosion, and my hand burned and wrinkled, and the buildings broke. Oh, Bill. Bill, we won't go back there, will we? Ever?
No. Go to sleep, honey. It's all right. We're in Mexico, 1950, and we're going to stay here.
Oh, Bill.
Sue, I've been lying awake here thinking. It may be that he's still testing us, that he's not absolutely certain. That may be why he hasn't moved.
Well, maybe he's just playing with us.
Yes, maybe. I wouldn't put that past him either. He's got all the time in the world. He can stay here as long as he likes, then bring us back to the future 60 seconds after we left it.
They can't make a scene, can they? They don't dare come out in the open.
No. That might change the future. They're afraid of that.
Oh, Bill, if we could only tell somebody, ask for help.
Now, Sue, you know we can't. That's why we had to submit to the psychological block treatment before they okayed our vacation. We couldn't tell if we tried. The block is too strong.
Oh, maybe we can break it, Bill.
And what if we did? Who'd believe a crazy story like ours? Who would believe that we come from 2155? No, Sue, that would do no good. But this is important. They have to get us alone to put us in the time machine to send us back.
Well, then that's it. We'll never be alone. Listen, it's still fiesta time. It'll be easy to stay in the crowd.
Yes, that's our only chance. We must not let him get us alone. He won't get us back to that war and that insane whirl of it.
Bill.
It could be the room clerk.
At 3 in the morning?
I'd better answer it.
No, don't. Don't, Bill, don't.
I've got to. Hello? Hello?
Mr. Travers?
What is the idea of this? It's 3 in the morning.
Yes. I just wanted to remind you, the rabbits may hide in the forest, but a fox can always find them.
What was it, Bill? Bill?
No, never mind, darling. Come on. Let's get some sleep. Why, we can.
Buenos dias, senor.
Good morning, Senor Gomez.
I trust you are spending pleasant days in my hotel. Fiesta time is the best.
Oh, it's been lovely.
Your special table is all ready for breakfast.
Oh, fine.
Where blazes is the hotel? Hey, you, Buster, where's the hotel? This godforsaken take all the
What is all that racket?
Great excitement, very great.
All right, what is it?
They come with 4 trucks and innumerable automobiles. A motion picture company from Hollywood.
Oh, what are they doing down here?
They make pictures of our fiesta for the backgrounds.
Oh, yes.
We have a very beautiful town. Beautiful. Yes, very beautiful. That fat man, the one with the most colorful shirt, he is the chief, the director.
Oh, yes.
The manager, where's the manager of this Adobe flea bag?
Coming, senor, coming. You will excuse me. Oh, I hope the table is satisfactory. Coming, senor, coming.
Sue, this is a break. That movie company will draw crowds, and that helps
But
us.
when can we leave, Bill?
Well, not today. He'd be sure then. It'd be easy to catch us above on the road. We better stay and try to lull Sims.
Okay, kids, end of the line. Chow! Get it up, Buster. Lay out the pepper. I gotta know something.
There's Sims, Bill. Across the dining room.
Well, we can't do anything now, not with these actors coming in.
Okay, follow me, kiddies. Hey, Gloria, you sit next to Papa. Hey, Max, make sure nobody monkeys with the trucks and the gear. Right, Shane?
Do we have to eat at this crummy joint, Joe?
Cheer up, sweetie. Your mere presence makes this Chasen's and the truck rolled into one.
Not this early in the morning, Joe. I couldn't stand it.
Okay.
They look happy, don't they?
Laddies, it's on the dear
Look,
old
Susan.
expense account.
Maybe I could hire two of them. I could say it was a joke.
Oh, why?
We could dress them in our clothes, have them drive off in our car sometime when Sims couldn't see their faces.
Where would that get us?
Well, with him off on their trail, we might make it to Mexico City. It'd take years to find us there.
Bill, that movie man's coming over here.
Oh, excuse me. You folks are Americans, aren't you?
Yes, that's right.
Boy, am I glad to see you. Yeah, I'm so sick of hearing Spanish I could kiss you. Hey, come on over and eat with us, huh?
Oh, well, I don't think we should intrude.
Come on. Misery loves company. I'm Misery, and that's the company. We're from Hollywood.
Yes, so I understand.
Yeah, and boy, would I like to be there now. We're down here for some preliminary shots on some Technicolor clam bake, real turkey, stinkeroo.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
But we've got an expense account. Oh, that's a lovely thing. I'm Joe Melton. I'm the unit director.
Oh, well, I'm William Travis. This is my wife, Susan.
Hi.
Mutual. Oh, come over, kids. Join the party. Cheer us up. Only no tamales. I burned out 3 kidneys on tamales since I came over the border. Hey, am I funny?
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, come on over. Hey, Kitty. I got new blood here, brother.
Just a moment, Mr. Travis. I thought you might be breakfasting with me, alone.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I got him first, Mac. You want to join us?
No, I've already ordered. Mr. Travis, I think you'd better talk with me now.
Hey, is this guy giving you trouble?
It's all right.
Well, you say the word. I'll have Max pitch him out on his ear.
No. It's all right. We'll be right over, Mr. Melton.
Oh, Bill.
We'll talk to Mr. Sims. Mr. Melton, sort of keep an eye on us, huh? After all, you found us first.
Yeah, sure. Well, come on over soon, kids.
Sit down, Mr. Travis. I hope you slept well.
Did you?
I'm not used to spring mattresses. But there are compensations. I stayed up half the night trying new cigarettes and foods. A whole new spectrum of sensation.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Still acting, huh? But it's no use. You can't stay in crowds all the time. I'll get you alone soon enough. I'm immensely patient. Let's come to the point. It took me a month to trace you down and be sure of you. Now, if you come with me quietly, I might be able to get you off with no punishment. If you agree to go back to work on the bacteria bomb.
We don't know what you're talking about.
Stop it. Use your intelligence. You know we can't let you get away with this escape. Other people in the year 2155 might get the same idea and do the same. We need people.
To fight your war.
Bill.
It's all right, Susan. We can talk on his terms now. He's got us. We can't escape.
At last. Really, you've both been incredibly romantic. Running away from your responsibilities.
Running away from horror.
Nonsense. Only a war.
Only? With half the world dead, the other half dying?
Yes. But we can't have you escaping here while we drop off a cliff. Dying people love to know that others died with them.
Hey, kids, break it up. We're waiting on you.
The longer you keep me waiting, the harder it will go on you.
What do you mean?
We need you on that bomb project. Return now and no torture.
Torture?
Yes. You see, later we'll force you to work. And after you finish the bomb, we'll try a number of complicated new devices on you.
Bill.
As you say, you can't escape. We have all the time in the world. Here in 1950.
Sims, I'll make a deal with you. I'll come back now if my wife stays here alive, safe, away from that war.
No, Bill,
Keep
no.
quiet, Sue. Well, Sims, you need me for that bomb. You can duplicate her work.
It exceeds my authority. But all right. Meet me in the plaza in 10 minutes.
I'll pick you up in the car.
Good. We'll drive out into the country to some deserted spot, and I'll have the time travel machine pick us up.
Bill, I won't let you.
Don't argue, Sue. It's settled.
Good. I'll meet you in the plaza in 10 minutes. Your wife may stay here as long as she wishes.
All right, Sims. It's a deal.
Don't try anything now, Travis.
I know when I'm licked. We just want a few minutes to say goodbye.
I'll be seeing you then.
Bill, I won't let you do it. I won't let you.
Please, Susan.
I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to get help.
You can't. The psychological block
It's
won't...
our last chance, Bill.
Hey, aren't you two going to join us? I thought
Mr. Melton, I've got something to tell you, and you've got to believe me.
Sue, it won't work.
You've got to try.
Go ahead, kids. Spill it.
You've got to understand. You see, we really... Bill, my head. I can't think. My
you
head.
need a
my
bromo,
head.
honey.
It can't work, Sue. Now, the block is too strong. Come on, we'd better get the car.
Hey, someone's crying now. Breakfast, no time for people to cry. Now, what in the world could a good-looking kid like you find to cry about?
Bill, I won't let you do it.
Now, don't make it harder,
I'll
Susan.
let me go back with you. We'll get through some way.
You think I'm going to let you go back to that war? Sue, please stop. We haven't got much time.
It was so wonderful here, Bill. Oh, Bill.
And there he is, smoking those cigars of his, waiting for us.
Oh, there must be some way that we can both stay here.
Maybe there is.
Bill, what are you going to do?
Hang on, Sue, and duck when I tell you.
No, Bill, you're heading right for him.
Not going to get either of us now.
Oh.
Down, Sue, down.
Bill?
It's all right, darling. It's all over now. This is the mayor, dear.
Senora, your husband has been officially cleared in this most unfortunate affair. It is obvious this Senor Sims died of an unavoidable accident.
An accident? Yes. Oh, yes, of course.
Adios, Senora.
Adios.
Will they want to see you again?
No. I'm clear. I lost control of the car. That's the way it stands. Oh, Sue, I hated to kill him. I never wanted to do anything like that in my life.
Where will we go now? Mexico City?
Well, the car's in the repair shop. It won't be ready till 4, then we'll get out of here.
Hey there, Travis. Wait up.
It's the movie man, Bill.
Oh.
He was very good to me when they had you in there.
Oh?
Hey, I heard what happened. They sprung you, huh? Great,
Yes.
great.
It was an accident.
Well, it's lucky you didn't get hurt yourselves. Everything okay now?
Yes, I think so.
That's fine, but you both look a little rocky. Say, you want to get your mind off your troubles? We're through for the day. Cloud's fouled up our shooting schedule, so we're going to put a header on it up at the hotel.
Well, I don't think we'd better.
You've got to wait till your car's fixed, don't you? Oh, come on, up. It'll do you good to relax. It'll get your mind off what's happened. Gloria's cracking the ice now.
Well, maybe we will join you. I've got to go check up on the car, and then...
Oh, don't miss the party, kiddies. I'll see you upstairs.
Bill, I don't think
Oh,
we...
come on, honey. We've got the break now. Sims is dead. Before they can put another searcher on our trail, we'll have time to make a clean getaway.
Bill, I'm so
I
tired.
know, and what you need is a little excitement. We rate a celebration, honey.
Well, I guess it would be nice to unwind.
Sure. We'll go up to Melton's room, have a couple of drinks and a few laughs. Honey, it's all over. We can relax.
Well, kiddies.
Well, we thought we'd join you, Mr. Melton.
Oh, great. Call me Joe. Hey, Gloria, yank another cork. We got company.
Way ahead of you. Here you are, kids.
Thank you.
You kids ready to drink? That was a pretty messy business, but it's all over now, huh?
Yes, it's all over.
Yes, well, it's time to unlax. Grab a glass, honey.
Well, thank you.
Hey, quiet, everybody. Quiet. How about a toast to our guests?
Oh, sure, you bet.
All right. To a very beautiful lady, lovely enough for the movies.
Why, thank you.
No, I'm not kidding. That's why I came over to you in the first place. I might even give you a test.
Oh.
No, I mean it, honey. You're pretty nice. I could make you a movie star.
Oh, and take me to Hollywood?
Well, at least it'd get us out of Mexico.
No, you're not serious.
Sure I am. Gloria, how about a refill?
Coming up.
Well, it sounds wonderful, doesn't it, Bill?
Yes. Los Angeles is a pretty crowded city, isn't it?
Crowded? Wait till you see the Sunset Bus.
No, you don't really think I could be an actress. You don't have to cheer me up anymore. I'm feeling wonderful now.
No, I'm serious. I think you'd be great. I want to do a suspense story. Sort of a war story, you know. Gloria, pour Mr. Travis another glass.
Okay, Joe. A suspense story.
Yes, dear, yes. A story about a man and a wife who live in a little house. Now, I'm just ad-libbing this, you understand?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go on.
Well, there's a war on, see? A terrible war, you see. They live in the year 2155.
Bill?
Now, here's the gimmick. They escape into the past, and they kill a man who follows them to bring them back. Gloria, honeypot, get Mr. Travis another glass. Well, sir, this couple takes refuge with a group of movie people. Safety in numbers, they figure.
Bill.
But the story goes on. This couple is terribly important for a new project. Let's call it a bacteria bomb. So the searchers figure out a way that they can get them alone in a hotel room. Shove a chair under the doorknob, Max.
Yes, sir.
You see, the searchers may work alone or in groups, so that if one of them's killed, the rest carry on. Don't you think that would make a wonderful picture, huh, Susan? Don't you, Bill?
You're not going to get us, Melton. Stand still.
Put that gun down, Travis. Who is it?
The manager. Your guy is
Grab that gun, Max. Let go of me. Now make things worse, Mr. Travis. The manager, he heard us. Let's get going.
Let go of me. Let go.
He'll break down the door in a minute. Max, get ready to travel. Get that. Take a good look, Mr. Travis. Take a good look at 1950. You won't be seeing it anymore. Throw the switch.
All right, Juan. Break down the door. Where are they? I was at the door. I heard them inside. They're gone. The windows. No, the iron bars are undisturbed. What happened to them, Juan? They just disappeared, all of them.
Nuestro Padre Cielo.
All right, Juan. Pray later.
Senor, I think you'd better send for the priest and holy water.
Later, Juan. Hey, that just disappeared.
Look here in the closet.
See?
Hey, bottles, hundreds of bottles. Chartreuse, cognac, absinthe, tequila, Turkish cigarettes, and boxes of pure Havana cigars. But these crazy Americanos. Why should anyone leave all this behind?
Juan, never question providence. There is enough here to last us both for a month. Juan, I think we can look forward to a most happy future.
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future, the world of Dimension X.
Now, about next week. Suppose that you were a private detective, and into your office walked a strange-looking client. Would you believe him if he told you that there was a Martian embassy hidden somewhere in New York, where spies from the Martian planet were preparing for the invasion of Earth? We'll tell you about it next week.
Tonight's adventure in Dimension X was the Ray Bradbury story To the Future, as adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. John Larkin was heard as Bill, and Jan Miner as Susan. Your narrator was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman, engineer Don Abbott. Dimension X is produced by Van Woodward and directed by Edward King. Tomorrow it's High Adventure. Now it's Truth or Consequences on NBC.
My friends, the old year is soon to end. The patient year has lived through the reproaches and misuses of its slanderers, and faithfully performed its work. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. It has laboured through its destined round, and now lays down its weary head to die. Look at the streets, my friends. The streets full of motion. The shops decked out gaily. The new year is waited for, with presents, welcomes, and rejoicings. Is there an allegory here, my friends? An allegory for the poor man in the fading year? And can he see it, the poor man I see in my mind's eye? Old Trotty Veck.
See, they call me Trotty on account of my trotting, which I do uptown and downtown and every part of town, in sun and rain and snow and wind and hail. Takes more than a dose of weather to stop Trotty Veck. And I'll deliver you letters, and I'll deliver you parcels, and I'll fetch things, and I'll carry things. I'll never stop. I can fetch anything and carry anything and take it anywhere. That I can. That's why they call me Trotty. Though I was christened Toby. And that's how I live, and earns enough to feed myself and my daughter Meg. Only today, it has to be said, there's not much of the trotting. More of the waiting this day. It being New Year's Eve, and there being not many as wants to run in of errands. So that's what I'm doing. Waiting here, where I always wait, just outside the church door. And a breezy, goose-skinned, blue-nosed, red-eyed, stony-toed, tooth-chattering place it is to wait in, too. And here come the chimes.
Listen, my friends. Listen to the chimes. The first quarter is about to begin. The first quarter of this hour we're about to spend together.
Aye, here they come. Regular as clockwork. Which isn't that surprising, since there undoubtedly is clockwork. And seeing as the last time they struck an hour, they struck 11, so now they're going to strike 12.
The Chimes, by Charles Dickens. Dramatised by John Clifford.
Told ya. And 12 means dinner time. And there's nothing more regular in its coming round than dinner time. And nothing less regular in its coming round than dinner. It took me a long time to find that out. And I wonder whether it would be worth anyone's while to buy that observation for the newspapers. Because it is undoubtedly true. On the other hand, the newspapers are full of observations already. So maybe they couldn't do with another one. Especially not coming from someone as poor as us. When the poor, the papers keep observing are the cause of so much misery and so many problems in the world. It seems like we can't go right, or do right, or be put right. We just seem to be the most dreadful trouble. We're always being complained of or guarded against. Talk of a new year. Talk of a happy new year.
Father? Father!
Bright eyes. Eyes that would bear a world of looking in before their depth was fathomed. Eyes beaming with hope so buoyant, so vigorous and bright, despite the 20 years of work and poverty on which they had always looked. The eyes of his daughter Meg.
Have we got a right to a happy new year? Have we got a right to any new year at all?
Father, what's the matter?
Nothing's the matter, Pet. I was just thinking about dinner.
And of how there isn't any?
Of how there isn't any sometimes, my pet. But there's you. And you're better than any dinner. And all the better for being a surprise, for I wasn't expecting you at all.
Well, here I am, Father. And not alone.
Not alone? Well, who's with you?
It's not who, Father. It's what. Look at the basket, Father. Look at the basket.
You don't mean to say...
Just smell it, Father. Smell it. No, not all at once. Don't open the basket all at once. Lengthen it out a little. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it? I can hardly believe it.
Just lift a little corner, Father, and guess what's inside.
Let me see. It's... hot. It's scalding hot.
So, what is it, Father? You have to guess. You haven't guessed yet. What is it?
It's polonies?
No, Father, it ain't. It's nothing like polonies.
Then it's liver. No, there's a mildness to it that don't answer the liver. I know it's not sausages. It's not cock's head, neither. I'll tell you what it is. It's chitterlings.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
But I'll be forgetting my own name next. It's tripe. Yes, of course it is.
And the best tripe you ever tasted, Father. You'll see it is. And I've brought it in a basin and tied the basin up with a pocket handkerchief and put a couple of potatoes in there beside and half a pint of ale in a bottle. And where will you eat it, Father? On the post or on the steps? Oh, how grand we are to have 2 dining places to choose from.
The steps, my dear. Steps in dry weather, post in wet. There's a greater convenience in the steps because of the sitting down. But in the wet, it's rheumatic.
Steps it is, Father. Come on, sit down. It's all ready. Sit down.
Amen.
Amen to the bells, Father.
They broke in like a grace, dearest. And now I can eat.
They talk to you, don't they?
Every day, dear Meg. Every day. Or at least they seem to. And what does it matter if they actually do or not? Just so long as I hear them. Why, a number of times I've heard them say, Toby Veck, keep a good heart, Toby Veck. And when things are bad, very bad, I mean, the worst, they say, Toby Veck, job coming soon, Toby. Job coming soon, Toby Veck.
And it comes always, Father.
After a bit, yes. It always comes. Always. But, Meg, my love, why didn't I tell you what a beast I was?
You? A beast?
A proper beast to be sitting here and cramming and stuffing and gorging myself, and you standing there hungry without so much as breaking your precious fast.
But I have broken it, Father. Broken it all to bits. I've had my dinner.
Nonsense, daughter. 2 dinners in one day? 2 dinners in one day? It ain't possible.
Oh, but it is, Father. It is. And it's happened.
How? How's it happened? Such a miracle.
You eat your dinner, Father, and I'll tell you how come I've had mine. And I'll tell you where yours came from. And I'll tell you something else besides.
And what might that be, Meg? What might that be?
I had my dinner, Father, with Richard. He brought his dinner with him when he came to see me. And we had it together, Father.
Oh?
And Richard says, Father...
What does Richard say, Meg?
Richard says...
Richard's a long time saying it.
He says another year is almost gone. And what's the use? What's the use of waiting when we'll never be better off than what we are now? He says we're poor now and we'll be poor then. But we're young now, and years will make us old before we know it. And how hard, Father, to grow old and think how we might have made each other happy. So Richard says, as his work was made certain for some time to come, and as I love him and he loves me, will I marry him on New Year's Day?
Tomorrow?
Yes, Father, tomorrow. The best and happiest day in the whole year, and one that's sure to bring good fortune with it.
It's very quick.
Oh, I know it's short notice, Father, but it's not like I've a wedding dress to be made, or a fortune to be settled on me like a lady. And he said it all the way he does, Father. Strong and kind and earnest. And I said I'd come and talk it over with you. And as they paid me for that piece of work I did, and I know you've had a hard week of it, I just couldn't help wishing this would be a kind of holiday to you, as well as a happy day to me. And I brought you a treat to surprise you.
And see how he leaves it cooling on the step, as if he didn't like it.
Richard?
A handsome young man, with a face that glowed like the red-hot iron on which his sledgehammer daily rang. And Trotty would certainly have replied, only the door opened unexpectedly.
Out of the ways here now.
And the footman very nearly put his foot in the tripe.
You must always go and be sitting on our steps, won't you? Now, will you clear the road, or won't you?
Oh, then what's the matter?
Alderman Cute, a gentleman upon the smooth downhill of life.
You're always being begged and prayed to let our doorstep be. Why don't you let 'em be? Can't you let 'em be?
There, that'll do. Now, you, porter, come here. What's that? Your dinner?
Yes, sir.
Don't leave it there. Bring it here.
Yes, sir.
A comfortable gentleman, accompanied by a thin, low-spirited man of middle age and disconsolate face.
Mr. Filer, what is this? He calls it dinner.
This, Alderman, this is a kind of animal food, commonly known to the labouring people by the name of tripe.
Tripe, eh? Tripe.
Tripe is, without exception, the least economical and most wasteful article of consumption that the markets of this country could possibly produce. The loss upon a pound of tripe has been found to be 7/8 of a fifth more than the loss upon a pound of any other animal substance whatsoever.
Oh, shocking, shocking.
The waste. And who eats tripe? Who eats tripe?
I do, sir.
You do you? And then I'll tell you something. You snatch your tripe out of the mouths of widows and orphans.
I'd rather die of hunger, sir, than do any such thing.
Divide the amount of tripe aforementioned by the estimated number of existing widows and orphans, and the result will be 1 pennyweight of tripe to each, and none for that man. Consequently, he's a robber.
And what do you say?
Nothing. He says nothing. There's nothing he can say. Look at him.
Bad. We are born bad.
I can prove it by tables.
Now, you, Porter, you listen to me. Don't you ever go telling me or anybody else that you haven't always got enough to eat, because I know better.
Widows and orphans.
Precisely, friend Philo, precisely. You see, there's a great deal of nonsense talked about want and widows and orphans and that kind of thing, and I intend to put them down.
Yes, sir.
And who's that?
My daughter, sir.
Where's her mother?
Dead, sir.
Dead?
Called up to heaven when she was born.
Killed her own mother.
And you, sir? You making love to her?
We're to be married tomorrow.
Married? Married? The ignorance of the first principles of political economy, the improvidence, the wickedness. Look at them. They've no right or business to be married, and we can prove it. Mathematically. With tables.
Now listen to me, my girl, because I am going to give you some advice. It's my business to give advice, because I am a justice of the peace. You know that, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Now, you are going to get married, you say. Most unbecoming and delicate for one of your sex. And after you're married, you'll quarrel with your husband and come to be a distressed wife. And you will, because I've told you so. And I give you fair warning, because I have made up my mind to put distressed wives down. And you'll have children, boys. And these boys will grow up bad and run wild in the streets without shoes or stockings. And I'll imprison every one, for I am determined to put boys without shoes and stockings down. Put them all down, every one. And your husband will die young, and you'll be turned out of doors and wander up and down the streets. And don't you think of wandering near me, my dear, for I am resolved to put all wandering mothers down. And if you attempt, desperately, ungratefully, and fraudulently attempt to hang yourself or drown yourself, you'll find no pity from me, for I have made up my mind to put all suicides down. Now be off with you. Be off with the pair of you.
And off they went, not arm in arm or hand in hand, but she in tears, and he gloomy and down-looking. The good Alderman Cute, he had put them down.
And as for you, Porter, you should carry a letter for me. Can you be quick? You're an old man. How old are you?
I'm over 60, sir.
This man has no business to be over 60. That's well past the average age, you know.
Oh, never mind that. You see, I'm very good-hearted. Take the letter.
Where am I to take it to?
The address is on the envelope.
Above average age, below average intelligence.
Here's 6pence for your trouble, and take care of that daughter of yours. She's much too handsome. She'll come to no good.
I can prove it by tables.
Now be off with you.
Wrong every way. Wrong every way.
The second quarter begins, my friends. The second quarter of the hour. And the chimes held no encouragement for Trotty at all.
Put 'em down, they're saying. Put 'em down. Facts and figures. Prove it by tables. Put 'em down. Put 'em down. I have no business here. No business with the new year or anything here. Put me down. Put me down.
It was a hard frost that day. The wintry sun looked brightly down upon the ice it was too weak to melt, and set a radiant glory there. At other times, Trotty might have learnt a poor man's lesson from that wintry sun, but he was past that now.
Yes?
It took the footman a long time to find his voice, for it was a very long way off, hidden under a load of meat.
Do you have any business here? This is the house of Sir Joseph Bowley, MP, Member of Parliament.
Letter for Sir Joseph.
You'll have to take it in. Everything goes straight in. That way.
Another knock to knock at. No end of doors to knock at, and most of them closed.
Come in.
Ugh. What is this?
Exactly.
Mr. Fish, have the goodness to attend.
A letter for Sir Joseph.
I beg your pardon, sir. It's a letter, sir, from Alderman Cute.
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
You have nothing else?
No, sir.
No bill or demand upon me? If you have, present it. There's a cheque-book by the side of Mr. Fish. I allow nothing to be carried over into the new year, so that if death was to
cut?
To sever, sir, sever my cord of existence, my affairs would be found in a state of preparation.
My dear Sir Joseph, you shock me.
My Lady Bowley, this is the season of the year when we should think. Think of...
our account?
Ourselves, sir. We do not think of our accounts, we look into them. We feel that this so eventful period in human transactions involves a matter of deep moment between a man and his
maker?
His banker, sir. His banker.
Quite so.
And as for you, Porter, how are your accounts? How do you stand before your divine banker? You can speak to me quite freely. I am a friend of the poor, famous for it. Now, the design of your creation is not that you should swill and guzzle and associate your enjoyments brutally with food, but that you should feel the dignity of labour. Do you feel the dignity of labour, my friend?
When I gets it, sir.
Go forth, erect into the cheerful morning air. Work hard, be respectful, bring up your family on next to nothing, pay your rent as regularly as the clock strikes, and you may trust me to be your friend and father.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Mr. Fish.
If I could point out, sir...
You're not thinking, are you, Fish?
No, sir. Merely holding. The letter, sir.
Oh, the letter. My lady, the alderman reminds me he's had the distinguished honour of meeting us at the house of Deedles, the banker, and he does me the favour of asking whether it would be agreeable for me to have one of our tenants put down. Will Fern. Will Fern?
A vicious man, an unpleasant man, an ungrateful man. Has he committed a robbery? I do hope so.
No, not quite. He came to London looking for work, his story, and was found sleeping in a shed. Our friend imprisoned him, quite rightly, but was forced to let him go.
More's the pity.
And now asks if on the next occasion it would be agreeable for me to have Will Fern put down.
Let him be made an example of.
Very well. Mr. Fish, write this down. Dear Alderman, etc., I am indebted, etc., William Fern is a turbulent and rebellious spirit. Nothing will persuade him to be happy as he ought. By all means, put him down, etc. And I am, etc., etc. And as for you, you will take the letter. But first of all, let me ask you, have you two made preparations for the new year?
Preparations, sir?
Yes, are your accounts in order? Are you at peace with the world?
I am afraid, sir, that I am a little behindhand with the world.
Behindhand with the world?
I'm afraid, sir, there's a matter of 10 shillings owing to Mrs. Chickenstalker.
To Mrs. Chickenstalker?
Shop, sir, in the general line. And also a little owing on account of rent.
Rent?
I know we shouldn't, sir, but times are hard.
Not Nonsense. No, stuff and nonsense. How a man, even among this improvident, impracticable, and generally useless class of the indigent poor, an old man, a man gone grey, can look a new year in the face in this deplorable condition, it is beyond me.
The letter, sir?
Take the letter and be gone.
Sir.
Be gone.
Be gone.
For heaven's sake, be gone.
Get out.
We're no good, you see. No good for anything. Put us down. Put us down.
And with that, Trotty delivered his letter as fast as he could, and he pulled his hat down over his head to hide the grief he felt at getting no hold on the old year, anywhere. But then what with his pace, which at best was awkward, and what with his hat, which didn't improve it, he trotted into someone in less than no time, and was sent staggering out into the road.
I beg your pardon. I hope I didn't hurt you.
No, you have not hurt me.
Nor the child, I hope.
No, nor the child. I thank you kindly.
Don't go. Sir, you won't take it amiss if I... It's just your child looks so cold and you look so footsore and jaded.
You can tell me, perhaps. I'd rather ask you as any other. Tell me where Alderman Cute lives?
Why, close at hand. I'll show you his house with pleasure. I just delivered a letter there.
Well, I was to see him tomorrow, but I'm uneasy under suspicion and want to clear myself and be free to go and seek my bread. So perhaps he'll forgive me going to his house tonight.
I can scarce believe this, but it ain't possible, is it? It ain't possible that your name's Fern.
How do you know?
Fern! It is! Will Fern! Well, don't you go near that Alderman Cute. He'll have you put down.
Put down?
Put down for a vagrant and an ungrateful and a miscreant and I don't know what else. He's going to jail you for it. I just delivered a letter to him about you.
Jail me, was he? Well, I could bear it for myself. But not for this pretty one.
Oh, of course not. What's your name, pretty one?
Tell the gentleman.
Lily, sir.
She has a beautiful face.
Oh, yes. I've thought so many times. Many times when the cupboard was bare. Thought so last night when they took us like two thieves. She's my brother's child. An orphan. They were going to take her to the workhouse, but I took her instead. Her mother had a friend once, and we thought we'd find her and maybe find some work, too. It's a large place. Ah, that's all right for us, Lily.
Lily's cold.
No, Lily, we don't mind. More room for us to walk about in. So, I'll take your advice and thank you. I'll steer clear of this justice. That's what they call it. Justice. Well, good night. Oh, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. No, wait. I could never have a Happy New Year leaving you like this. I couldn't. I could never have a Happy New Year thinking of you two wandering away without a roof to your heads. I couldn't. Come on. Come on with me. No, you must come. You're worn out. I'll carry her. I will. I'll take her. You'll come to me, darling, won't you? Come to your new Uncle Trotty Veck. Your old Uncle Will Fern's all worn out.
I'll come.
You see Uncle Will? Oh, she's as light as a feather. Now, you see as you can keep up with me. This way. Round to the right. Past the pump. Sharp off to the left, opposite the public house. Here we are and here we go. Cross over. Mind the kidney pie shop. Just down the mews here, Uncle Will. And stop at the door with T. Veck ticket porter on the board. For that's who I am, and this is where I live. And here we are, Meg, surprising you, and with a child for you. And you'll run to Meg, won't you, darling? Meg will take good care of you.
Father, who is this? She's very welcome.
She's young Lily, and this is her Uncle Will Fern. And they'll be our guests tonight. And you've been crying too, poor child. But still, here we are, and here we go. Uncle Will, here's a fire. Sit by it.
Oh, Father, I think you're crazy tonight. What would the bells say to that?
They'd say, put the kettle on and you'll have it boiling.
Oh, what poor little feet our Lily has. How cold they are. Now they're getting warmer.
Have it boiling in no time. And then, well, Meg, I think I saw a little tea lying on the stairs, and maybe even a little bit of bacon too. I'm not sure where they are, so I'll go and find them.
And so, with this inscrutable artifice, off goes Trotty to buy the food he spoke of, with ready money at Mrs. Chickenstalker's. And on his return, there being only enough for the man and the child.
Now, it's a curious thing, a very curious thing. Curious, but well known to my friends, that I never care myself for bacon, nor for tea neither. I like to see other people enjoy them, but to me, as food, they are very disagreeable. Now, some people say they smell good, but I've never understood that myself. My pleasure is to watch other people eat them, especially people in want of sustenance themselves. Ain't that right, Meg?
You're right, Father. You're so right.
Never did spectators at a city dinner or a court banquet find such high delight in seeing others feast as those two did, looking on that night.
Now, I'll tell you what. The little one sleeps with Meg.
With Meg? With good Meg?
Yes, with good Meg. And as for you, Wilfern, you come along with me. You're tired to death. I'll show you the place. It's not much of a place, just a loft, but there's plenty of sweet hay up there. So, cheer up, Will. Don't give way. A new heart, Will. A new heart for the new year.
And then the old man composed himself to mend the fire and draw his chair to the warm hearth. Then he took his newspaper from his pocket and began to read, carelessly at first, skimming up and down the columns, but with an earnest and sad attention very soon.
A young woman killed herself and her young child. Threw herself in the river, holding her baby. That's terrible. Terrible. Only people bad at heart, people born bad, could do such things. And that's what we are. Born bad. Put us down. Put us down. Yes, and that's what they're saying. No, they're not. They're not. They're saying something else altogether. Toby Veck, waiting for you, Toby Veck. Drag him to us, haunt and hunt him, break his slumbers. I can't bear it. I must go. I can't bear it. I really can't.
And before he knew it, he was out in the street and running down the road.
I'll just see. I'll see if the door is open. And the door will be closed, and I'll be satisfied.
It was a low, arched portal in a dark nook, and had such great iron hinges and such a monstrous lock that there was more hinge and lock than door.
The door will be closed. I know it will. The door... But it's open. The door is open.
And before he knew it, he had begun to climb. Up, 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 round and round, up in the deep, deep darkness. Up and up to where the bells are, higher and higher, up ladders now, up, higher and higher, until high, high above the housetops of the city, shadowy, dark and dumb.
The bells! The bells!
It was barely possible to make out their great shapes in the darkness, but there they were.
Hello!
Hello! And the chimes began to sound the start of the third quarter. But he heard them not. High, high, high up there in the dizzying darkness, for he had fainted. How black are the brooding clouds! How troubled the deep waters of the ocean of dreams! Who knows when it was that Trotty seemed to wake? And as he sat up and looked in the awful darkness, he seemed to see in every bell a bearded figure of its spirit. Draped and hooded they were, shadowy and dark, gigantic, grave, and darkly watchful. And when they spoke, it was as though the sounds they made had no need to enter through his ears. It was as though they spoke directly to his troubled heart.
What visitor is this?
It's me, Trotty Veck.
Trotty Veck. Trotty Veck.
I thought my name was called by the chimes. I've listened to you, Chimes, these many years. You have cheered me often.
And have you thanked us?
1,000 times.
How?
I'm a poor man. I could only do so in words.
And never done us wrong? Never done us wrong in words? You hesitate.
Because...
The voice of time cries to humankind, advance. Time is for your advancement and improvement, for your greater worth, your greater happiness, your better life. Who seeks to turn you back or stay you on your course does us wrong.
I'm sure I never meant to, sir.
Who puts into the mouth of time or us, its servants, a cry of lamentation for days of failure or of loss, does us wrong. And you have done us that wrong.
But if you knew how often you'd kept me company and cheered me up when I've been low, and how you were quite the plaything of my daughter Meg when first her mother died and she and me were left alone, you won't bear us malice for a hasty word.
Who turns his back on the fallen and disfigured of his kind, who abandons them as vile, does wrong to heaven and humanity, wrong to eternity and wrong to time, and you have done us that wrong.
Forgive me.
Learn the truth of things. Learn it. Learn it from the creature dearest to your heart. And look.
A body on the ground, motionless and crushed. A dead body on the ground.
Your own.
My own?
You fell, you see. Fell from this high bell tower and were crushed and broken.
Crushed and broken.
Now, listen.
My funeral. And my Meg, weeping at my loss.
Your loss. Now look.
A freshly made grave. My name on the headstone.
Your grave. Now look.
The grave uncared for. The grave untended. The headstone smeared with grime.
Your headstone. Now look. 10 years have passed.
10 years?
Now go. Follow the thread. Follow the thread of time.
A bare room. A poor, mean room. Meg working.
Learn it from the creature closest to your heart.
My Meg working, sewing in the twilight, with no light to help her poor tired eyes. Someone with her. Someone younger.
Meg, how often you raise your head from work to look at me?
Lily! Grown up. And changed. How changed?
Oh, my looks so altered that they frighten you.
You smile at that when you say so. You smile at that because you know it not to be true. And yet you never smile at me.
I do so. Do I not?
You smile now, but not usually. When you think I'm busy and don't see you, you look so anxious and so sad. And you were once so cheerful.
Do I make our weary life more weary still?
You have been the only thing that made it life. So many hours, so many days, so many long, long nights of hopeless, cheerless, never-ending work. Not to become rich, or live grandly, or in comfort, not even to live on enough, but to earn bare bread. To scrape together just enough to work and work again. Oh, Meg, Meg, how can the cruel world go round and bear to look upon such sad lives?
Oh, Lily, Lily, you too. You so pretty and so young.
Oh, Meg, that is the worst of all. Strike me, old Meg, wither me and shrivel me, and free me from the dreadful thoughts that tempt me.
Lily, no! No, no! Gone. All gone. Where's Richard? He should be with her. He should be comforting her. Where's Richard?
Learn it from the creature closest to your heart.
Follow the thread of time.
And where am I now? Big house. Grand dinner. Alderman Cute.
Many happy returns, Lady Bowley, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I understand Sir Joseph is to play skittles. Skittles with his tenants. What magnificent condescension. Quite like old King Hal. Fine character.
Very. Above average number of wives. Murdered them.
And look at the boy, young Master Cute. We shall have this little gentleman in Parliament before he's turned 30.
Ah, the difference of shoes and stockings. And where's Richard? Show me Richard. Not him, not Mr. Fish.
Alderman Cute? My dear Alderman Cute, a little more this way, dear sir. What I have to say is for your ears alone. Dreadful intelligence. The most frightful and deplorable event.
Fish, whatever's the matter? Nothing revolutionary, I hope.
Deedles. Deedles the banker. Shot himself.
Good God.
Put a double-barreled pistol to his mouth. In his own counting house.
Lamentable. One of the most respectable men I ever knew. I shall wear the deepest mourning.
No talk of putting down now, Alderman Cute. No talk of putting suicide down now. The difference a little respectability makes.
It's almost enough to make one think, if one didn't know better, that some motion of a capsizing nature was going on in things. Deedles, by his own hand. Such a respectable man.
What
is this? What is this?
Will Fern.
Who gave this man admittance?
So much older and greyer.
This is a criminal from prison, Mr. Fish.
One moment, sir. One moment, my lady. You were born on this day along with the new year. Give me a minute's leave to speak.
No.
Oh, let him speak, Alderman Cute. The worst he can do is be dull.
Thank you. Lady, I thank you. Gentlefolks, look at me. Just come from jail, and not for the first time, nor the second, nor the third, nor yet the fourth.
You should be ashamed of yourself. 4 times imprisoned is quite unreasonably above the average.
Let me say a word, and let the real truth be spoke for once to you, gentlemen, and you ladies, who pass judgment on the likes of me. And you see one like me, with discontent writ on his face, you says he's suspicious. That Will Fern. You watch him, and that means whatever that Will Fern does or doesn't do, it goes against him, 'cause the law, your laws, gentlemen, are set up to catch and trap the likes of me. I try to live elsewhere, caught like a vagabond, to jail with him. So, comes back here, I goes looking for food in the woods, and I breaks a branch or two, to jail with him. One of your keepers sees me in broad day with a gun, to jail with him. It's 20 mile away, that jail. And on the way back, I begs a little on the road, so to jail with him. And now, when anybody finds me anywhere doing anything, it's to jail. Again and again. So jail's the only home I got. Now, you can't give me back the years I lost, and you can't give me back the niece I lost, nor the home I lost neither, but gentlemen, begin at the other end. Give us better homes when we're lying in our cradles. Give us better food when we are working for our lives, and don't set jail before us everywhere we turn. And you do that before you lost us all for good, before we burned down the houses that you lived to oppress us in.
And he's gone. They've all gone. But where's Richard? Where's Richard?
Learn it from the creature closest to your heart. Follow the thread. Follow the thread of time.
Meg's room. A poor mean room. And Meg working. Meg, I wish you could hear me. You look so sad and tired. I wish I could comfort you. Say a few words, Meg, that you could hear and could make you feel better. But where's Lily? Where is she? There's her frame. There's the frame she worked on. And there's a chair she sat on. But the frame's been covered up. And the chair's been put to face the wall. Why history? What a history in these sad small things. And my Meg's grief-stricken face. Oh, I wish I couldn't read it.
Come in.
And there's Richard. There's Richard at last. But how he's changed. How he slouches. And the smell of drink. The smell of drink from him.
Can I come in?
Come in. Come in. Sit down.
And he sits. And he stares. Stares at nothing at all. And she cannot bear to see him. She turns away.
Still at work?
Still at work.
You work late?
I generally do.
And early?
And early.
Lily said you did. She said you're never tired, or never admitted it. Not even when you fainted from weariness.
So you told me last time.
Did I?
Have you forgotten?
I try to forget everything, Meg. Everything.
And I begged you to tell me nothing more about her. Or about the life she leads now. And you promised.
Did I? Did I promise?
Yes. So don't tell me. I can't bear to know.
Dear Meg. Good Meg.
She haunts me, Meg. She haunts me. She comes behind me in the street. She thrusts it in my hand. She whispers, Richard, don't look round. Give her this. For heaven's love, give her this. Look at it, Meg. Look at it.
Hide it. Hide it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the money she earns and think she may be doing it for me.
Oh, she says...
Don't tell me. I don't want to hear what she says. Only tell her. Tell her I love her and I think of her. Tell her I think of her every minute of every day. Go. Go.
Meg. Dear Meg, don't cry. Please don't cry. Can't hear me. Can't hear me.
Imagine this, my friends. Imagine this as the last quarter is about to strike. Imagine this mean, wretched room not so far from yours. This room, this cold, cheerless room where she sits and grieves for her lost friend.
Learn it from the creature closest to your heart.
But no matter what her mood, no matter how great her grief, no matter how great the torture of body or mind, she still must work. She still must work or starve. And so she works. Night, midnight, still she works. And before she has time so much as to wonder who is there.
Lily. Lily, come in. Oh, dear heart, come in.
Look at this. Merciful heavens, look at this.
How thin you look. How pale. How cold. How cold you are, dear soul. Come in. Warm yourself. Here's my shawl. Take it, please.
You remember how I cursed my beauty and I wished it gone? Well, it's gone now. All gone.
No.
I have fallen low, Meg. Fallen very low. So they tell me, those that preach at me. And I had to hear them, Meg. Had to. Otherwise, they won't give me anything to eat, you see. And I had to have something to eat. 'Cause no one wants to buy you once the sores start showing, and you have to eat. You have to. And that's how they got to preach at me about my wickedness and that. Not that it stopped some of them using me sometimes.
Don't talk of it, Lily. You don't need to talk of it. You're here now. You're safe now, Lily, dear one.
What they forget, all them that preach at me, is the one in whose name they say they're preaching. He never condemned us. He never did. He let one of us wash his feet. Wash his feet with her hair.
Now, Lily. Lily, my love, sleep here, love. Sleep. You're safe now. Sleep. Hush now. Hush. Hush.
Look at them, you respectable people, ready to pass judgment. Look at them and judge them if you dare. The last quarter. The last quarter of the hour. The last quarter of the old year.
Years have gone by. Years. In the twinkling of an eye. And where am I now? A warm room. Too warm. Smells of muffins.
I'm glad to think we had muffins. It's a sort of night that's meant for muffins. Likewise, crumpets.
You're in spirits, Tugby?
A little elevated, Mrs. T, just a little elevated.
Mrs. Chickenstalker. And she's married. She's married Sir Joseph Storman.
A little shop, quite crammed and choked with the abundance of its stock. A voracious little shop with a maw as full as any shark's.
So a hard night, is it, Mrs. T?
Blowing and sleeting and threatening snow.
Yeah. Yards are like people in that respect. Some of them die hard, and some of them die easy. This one's making a fight of it. Unlike him up the stairs. Oh, there's a customer, Mrs. T. Attend to him, attend to him.
Now then, what's wanted? Oh, I beg your pardon, Doctor. I didn't think it was you.
A shabby man in black who sat down astride the beer barrel. A medical attendant upon the poor.
This is a bad business upstairs, Mrs. Tugby. The man can't live.
Just what I've been telling you, Mrs. T. The back attic can't live.
The back attic, Mr. Tugby, is coming downstairs fast.
Exactly what I've been telling Mrs. T. The back attic is going.
And very soon he'll be below the basement.
And what I've been saying is this. He must be going before he's gone.
I don't think you can move him. You'd better leave him where he is.
Leave him where he is?
He'll be gone very soon.
Exactly. That's just what I've been telling Mrs. Tugby. He's going to die here upon the premises.
And where else should he die?
In the workhouse. What else the workhouse is for?
Not for that, Mr. Tugby. And neither did I marry you for that.
But think of the inconvenience.
Don't think it, Tugby. Don't think it. I won't have it. I knew him as a handsome young man, and I knew her as the sweetest girl eyes ever saw. And I knew her father fell from the steeple, poor man, walking in his sleep. I knew him, I say, as the simplest, sweetest-hearted, hardest-working man that ever drew the breath of life. And if I ever turned them out of house and home, may angels turn me out of heaven, as they would, and serve me right.
Oh, bless you, Mrs. Chickenstalker. Bless your heart.
We should go up.
A strange procession going up the shabby stairs. The medical attendant first, all dressed in black, and Mrs. Tugby next, with fat Mr. Tugby panting at the rear, and poor Trotty floating above them, his heart beating painfully, in his ear the cruel, insistent voices of the bells.
Learn it from the creature dearest to your heart.
And there she is, haggard, weeping, clutching a baby child. Oh, God be thanked, she loves the child. She loves the child.
There, his heart stopped, his pain's over. It's better as it is.
Not a cruel man, but accustomed, witnessing such scenes every day.
Dear soul, don't take on so.
They mustn't give way. That won't do. Fight up. We must all fight up.
And I wait in the poor, mean, freezing room, and I look up at her face, at her dear face so worn down by suffering, and I listen for at least a trace of her old pleasant voice.
And he watches, and he waits, and he flits around the child, the poor, wan child, so old before its time, so dreadful in its gravity, so plaintive in its feeble, mournful, miserable wail.
But she loves it. God be thanked, she loves it.
And he goes with her as she tramps the streets, the cold, pitiless streets of London, searching for work, for anything to save her child from starvation. And back in the room one night.
Will Fern.
For the last time.
What have you done?
look at the sky. I look at the burning. I wanted to see you one last time. Is that your child? Oh, let me hold your child. Is it a girl? I won't hurt her. Oh, what's her name?
Margaret.
I'm glad of that. Margaret. Here, take her. I held the same face in my arms when Lily's mother died and left her.
When Lily's mother died and left her?
Meg, I thank you. I thank you for the last time. Goodbye. Tell me you'll forget me. Goodbye.
Will. But it is love. She still loves it. She'll never stop loving it.
Like Lily, when her mother died and left her.
Poor Meg. My poor Meg.
The next day was the last day of the old year, and once more she spent it being harried from here to there, hopelessly looking for some way to feed her child. And when she came back that night, there was a man blocking the door.
You've come back, have you? You've lived here long enough without paying rent. Suppose you try and find yourself another lodging. Don't you think you could manage it?
It's very late. I'm very tired. But tomorrow.
You see, this is the last night of the old year. I wonder you ain't ashamed of yourself to want to carry ill will and quarrellings into the new year. Now, be off with you.
Learn it from the creature closest to your heart. Follow her to despair.
But she loves the baby. She still loves the baby.
Like Lily when her mother died and left her. Like Lily. Like Lily.
Where's she going? Not to the river. Surely to God, not to the river.
Like Lily when her mother died and left her.
Learn it from the creature closest to your heart.
Oh, my father! Turn her back! Turn her back! Dear God, turn her back from the river!
The rolling river, swift and dim, where scattered lights upon the banks gleamed sullen red and dull, like torches burning there to show the way to death.
Stop her! Stop her!
Learn it from the creature closest to your heart.
Oh, I've learned it! Stop her! I've learned not to judge the mothers who, in desperation, kill their children and themselves. Have mercy, you who pass judgment on us. Have mercy on us.
And he holds her now. He holds her with a giant's strength.
I see the spirit of the chimes. I know happiness is our inheritance. I know there is a sea of time will rise one day, and all who oppress us or wrong us will be swept away like leaves. I can see it on the flow. I know that we must trust and hope and never doubt ourselves or doubt the good in one another. I have learnt it from the creature dearest to my heart, the creature I hold tight in my loving arms. Spirits of the bells, spirits merciful and good, spirits of the bells, I am grateful.
Well, Father, all I can say is that's the last time you eat tripe. How you've been going on?
What? Going on? Where am I?
You're sitting in your own chair in front of your own fire, you silly.
My own fire? My own daughter?
And I'm just going to kiss her too, because the first kiss of Meg in the new year is mine. I've been waiting outside the house to hear the bells and claim it. Meg, my lovely wife, Happy New Year.
My own Richard, the new year. And tomorrow's your wedding day.
Today, Troy. We're getting wed today.
Silly Father. Oh, listen to the chimes.
Ringing in the new year. And you getting married.
Great bells they were. Melodious, deep-mouthed, noble bells. When had they ever chimed like that before?
Dear daughter, dear loving daughter. And here's little Lily. Here we are and here we go. Little Lily come out to wish us a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Here we are and here we go. And Uncle Will too.
Happy New Year.
Oh, Uncle Will, the visions I've had concerning you. And how glad I am you came here, Will Fern, my good, good friend.
Happy New Year! Happy wedding!
got a badge, your daughter's going to be married.
And because everyone knows you, wishes you well. And because everyone knows her, wishes her well. And because everyone knows him, wishes him well. We thought we'd all come in and wish you all the happiness a new year can bring.
Here we are to play it in and dance it in together.
Thank you, neighbours. Thank you. And a happy new year!
And did Trotty dream? Or are all his joys and sorrows and the actors in them but a dream? Himself a dream, like the teller of this tale, and the listener of it too. But remember, listener, remember the place these dreams come from. The stern place, the pitiless place, the place of injustice and sorrow, and try to make it a kinder, warmer, gentler place. And may the new year be happy for you, happy for all of us, and may each of us not be denied our share of the happiness our great Creator made us to enjoy. Farewell. God bless. God bless.
The Chimes, by Charles Dickens, was dramatised by John Clifford. Trotty Veck was played by Ron Cook, Sir Joseph and Mr. Filer by Sean Chapman, Richard and Mr. Fish by Luke Jardine, Alderman Cute and the Doctor by Paul Jesson, Meg by Helen Longworth, Lady Bowley, Mrs. Tugby, and Lily by Isabel Middleton, Will Fern and Mr. Tugby by Nicholas Murchie, and Charles Dickens by Sean Murray. The Chimes was directed by Gaynor MacFarlane.
The Haunted Man and the Ghost's Bargain by Charles Dickens, dramatised by Jill Brooke, with John Moffat as Dickens and Michael Tudor Barnes as Redlaw.
It is now some time since the publication of this, my last Christmas book, but I think it will repay one more telling. Everybody said Mr. Redlaw looked like a haunted man. Who could have seen his hollow cheek and sunken eye, his black-cloaked figure, his grizzled hair hanging seaweed-like about his face, but might have said he looked like a haunted man. His solitary vault-like dwelling was in a remote part of the ancient college where he lectured in chemistry. You should have seen him in his chamber about twilight, in the dead winter time, when he sat gazing at the shadows in the fire. You should have seen him then.
Who's that? Come in.
William Swidger, sir. Come to light your lamp and set the table. I'm humbly fearful, Mr. Redlaw, that your supper's a good bit past the time tonight, sir. But my wife has been taken off her legs so often by the wind that it's a mercy she got home at all.
Yes.
That's what I always say myself, sir. Such as many of us Swidgers. Pepper. Why, there's my father, Philip Swidger, superannuated caretaker of this institution. 87 years old, he's a Swidger. Spoon.
True, William.
And then you come to his successor as caretaker, my unworthy self, Salt. Then you come to all my brothers and their families, knife and fork. Why, what with cousins, uncles and aunts, the Swidgers, tumblers, might take hold of hands and make a ring round England. So it's all for the best, Mrs. William and I have no child of our own. And the butter. Mrs. Williams said she'd dish in 10 minutes.
I am quite ready.
Mrs. Williams been at it again, sir. Not satisfied with being a sort of mother to all the young gentlemen that come to attend your lectures, she's been and went and...
Here she is, sir, and my father.
Good evening.
What is that the old man has in his arms?
Oh, holly, sir, to decorate your room.
When I first came here, it was a pleasure to know that one of our benefactors left money in his will to buy holly for garnishing the walls and windows come Christmas. You recollect his picture that hangs in our great dinner hall? Sedate gentleman with a peaked beard and a ruff round his neck and a scroll below him, in old English letters, "Lord, keep my memory green." Freshening up the bare rooms with these branches and berries keeps my memory green, sir.
Oh, come away, my dear. Mr. Redlaw won't settle to his dinner otherwise. I wish you good night, sir, and hope...
Oh, stay. William, what were you going to tell me concerning your excellent wife?
Why, sir, Mrs. Williams got her eye on me.
You're not afraid of Mrs. Williams' eye, are you?
Why, no, sir, but I wouldn't like to... Millie, him, you know, down in the buildings, my love.
I asked William not to mention it. It's a poor, hard-working young gentleman, sir, one of your students who is too ill to go home this holiday time and lives down in Jerusalem buildings. That's all, sir.
Why have I not heard about him? Give me my hat and coat. What house? What number? If he's one of my students, I must help him.
Oh, you mustn't go there, sir. It couldn't be thought of.
Why not?
Well, sir, the young gentleman would never have made his situation known to one of his own sex. They all confide in Mrs. William. They all trust her.
There is good sense in what you say, William. So, take him this, Millie.
Oh, dear, no, sir. Not money. Couldn't be dreamed of. He said that of all the world he would not receive help from you, though he is a student in your class. I can't tell why, sir, for I know he is lonely and lacking comforts, but he is engaged to be married when he can afford it. How very dark it seems in here.
It's turned colder, too. William, my boy, turn up the lamp and rouse the fire.
Yes, Father.
He was muttering in his sleep yesterday afternoon about some great wrong that could never be forgiven.
Not content with being like a mother to him, sir. When she was coming home tonight, Mrs. William goes and finds a creature more like a wild beast than a child, shivering upon her doorstep. What does she do but bring it home to dry it and feed it? It's sitting in the old lodge chimney corner, staring at our fire as if its eyes would never shut again.
God bless you, Millie. I will consider what I can do to help, but I'll not detain you any longer now. Good night.
I thank you, sir. William, you take the lantern, lead the way. I'm forever stumbling down these long, dark passages. Good night, sir.
Good night, Mr. Redlaw.
Good night, sir.
As Redlaw sat musing in his chair alone, he did not notice the healthy holly that withered on the wall and dropped dead branches. The gloom and shadow thickened and slowly formed an awful likeness of himself. The living man and the animated image of himself dead looked upon the other. This was the dread companion of the haunted man.
Spirit of myself, why do you come to haunt me like this?
I come when you call me. I am the one miserably poor and neglected in his youth, who studied and strove and suffered that he might gain knowledge.
Remember, I too am that man.
A stranger took my father's place when I was a child, and my parents cast their offspring loose early, as birds do. In this struggle upward, I found a friend, Longford. Though he had money and I none, we worked together side by side, and I bestowed all my affection and trust on him.
Not all. I also had a sister.
Did Longford love my sister? Has she loved him? I think he did once.
Let me forget it.
At that time, a pretty young girl entered my life too, and a dream of love arose in my own heart as well as in my sister's, though I was still too poor to think of marriage. But as as I strove to climb the ladder of success, what visions of the future did I see?
I saw them again, in the fire.
Pictures that were delusions. For my rich friend came between me and my dear love and won her for himself. My sister's frail universe was shattered by Longford's betrayal. She lived to see my ambition rewarded, but then
died, gentle as ever, and concerned only for me, her brother, and my loss. Early unhappiness, a wound from someone I trusted, and a loss that nothing can replace live longer in the mind than dreams.
Thus memory is a curse, and if I could forget my sorrow and my wrong, I would. If I could forget, I would.
My life is darkened by that incessant whisper.
Then hear what I offer. Forget the sorrow, wrong, and trouble you have known. I have the power to cancel their remembrance, to leave only faint traces that will soon die out.
If I agree to this, what else shall I lose?
No results of study. Only the feelings and associations nourished by your banished recollections. Decide before the opportunity is lost.
One moment. I call heaven to witness that I have never hated anyone. If I have made too much of all that might have been and too little of what is, the evil has fallen on me and not on others. Yes, I will close the bargain. I will forget my sorrow, wrong, and trouble.
Then it is done. But remember, the gift that I have given, you shall give again, go where you will. You shall destroy the power of memory in all whom you approach. Destroy the power of memory.
With a terrible smile upon its face, the phantom melted before him and was gone. As his memories slowly began to fade, Redlaw was still conscious of the science that he taught. In the material world, no atom can be spared without a blank being made in the great universe. Were not good and evil, happiness and sorrow, all necessary in the memories of men? Once deprived of kindly recollection, how would the balance of people's lives be changed? Would their hearts not harden, and their souls give way to irritation and despair? His thoughts were broken by a shrill cry far off in the wind.
Where are you? Hello? Where are you? What is it? Come to the light.
As Redlaw raised the lamp and tried to pierce the gloom, something rushed past him into the room like a wildcat and crouched down in a corner. A bundle of tatters held together by a hand. A baby savage.
I'll bite if you hit me.
Who are you? What do you want?
Where's the woman? I want to find the woman what brought me here and set me by the fire. She was gone so long I went to look for her and lost myself. I don't want you. I want the woman.
Try to run, would you?
Let me go. I've done nothing to you.
What is your name?
Got none. Let me go. I want to go back to the woman.
Oh, this way. I'll take you.
Remember, the gift that I have given, you shall give again, go where you will.
I will not go to the lodge tonight. Go straight down this passage and into the yard. You see the fire shining on the window there? Now, be off with you, and leave me alone.
Tetterby's the Newsagents was the corner shop in Jerusalem Buildings. There was a good show of literature in the window, chiefly consisting of out-of-date picture newspapers. Walking sticks and marbles were included in the stock in trade. It had once extended into the light confectionery line, but nothing connected with that branch of commerce remained except a glass jar containing a languishing mass of bullseyes which had melted and congealed until all hope of getting them out was gone. In another jar was a heap of minute wax dolls. Time was when it had put its trust in cheap jewellery, for in one pane of glass there was a card of signet rings and a black talisman of inscrutable purpose, labelled ninepence. Mr. Adolphus Tetterby sat in a small parlour, partitioned off from his small shop by a small screen pasted all over with small scraps of newspapers. In company with this small man were a number of marauding small boys, fighting and arguing and scuffling in and out of bed.
You bad boy!
Little Johnny Tetterby was tottering to and fro, considerably affected in his knees by the weight of a very large baby, his only sister Sally. It was a very Moloch of a baby, which usually roved from door to door in its brother's arms. He was content to stagger about with it like a very small porter with a very large parcel.
Oh, ain't you any feeling for your poor father after a hard winter's day, but you must wither his rest with your vicious tricks? Isn't it enough, sir, that your big brother, young Dolphus, is toiling and moiling in the cold to sell his newspapers, and you rolling in the lap of luxury with a baby and everything you could wish for? But must you make a wilderness of home and maniacs of your parents? Must you, Johnny? Hey? There. Don't take on so. Hey, your brother's late tonight, Johnny. He'll come home like a lump of ice. And what's keeping your precious mother?
Here's Mother now. And Dolphus too, Father.
Ah, yes, that's the footstep of my little woman.
I must have a sit down.
Hey, are you very wet, young Dolphus, my boy? Come and dry yourself by the fire.
No, Father, thank you. I ain't very wet. Does my face shine much, Father?
Johnny, hang up me bonnet and shawl and fetch me the tablecloth, will you?
Yes, Mother.
Oh, dear me. Dear me, that's the way the world goes.
Which is the way the world goes, my dear?
Oh, nothing. Oh, dear me. Dear me, dear me. Oh, that's the way the world goes.
My duck, you said that before. Which is the way the world goes?
Oh, nothing.
Sophia, you said that before, too.
Well, I'll say it again if you like. Oh, nothing. There now.
My little woman, what's put you out?
Who said I was put out? I never did.
Boys, your supper'll be ready in a minute. Your mother has been out in the wet, all the way to the cook's shop to buy it. It was very good of her to do so, eh?
Oh, how could I go and behave so? Oh. I'm sure, my love, coming home, that I had no more idea than the baby. Johnny, don't look at me, but at her, or she'll fall out of your lap and be killed, and then you'll die in agonies of a broken heart and serve you right. I'd no more idea of being cross than that little darling. But somehow, ever since that man looked at me...
My dear, whatever do you mean?
There was this odd-looking man in the street, a stranger, and dressed all in black. Ever since I've seen him, I've felt very strange. Oh, I don't know. I must be tired.
I understand. My little woman was put out. Hard times and hard weather and hard work make life trying now and then.
Yes. I'm quite better now. Oh, what a wicked fool I was. Do you know, Dolphus, my dear, that when I was single, I might have given myself away in several directions. Why, at one time, there were 4 after me.
Yes, my love.
Well, I'm sure I never think of such things now. And I'm sure I've got as good a husband as any in the world. But you see, well, I did get a little out of sorts in the street just now. There were such delightful things to buy, such delicious things to eat, and there was so much calculating to be done before I durst lay out a sixpence. You hate me, Dolphus, don't you?
Not quite, as yet.
Well, I'll tell you the whole truth, and then perhaps you will. It was after I saw that man, and I was trudging home in the cold when I began to wonder whether I mightn't have done better and been happier if...
If you had married somebody else?
Yes, that's what I really thought. Do you hate me now, Dolphus?
Why, no. Not as yet.
Oh, I don't know whether I was ill or mad or what, but suddenly I couldn't recall anything that ought to bind us together. All the pleasures we've ever had seemed so cheap and insignificant that I hated them. I could think of nothing except our being poor and the number of mouths we have to feed.
Well, my dear, that's truth after all.
Oh, but since I've been at home a little while, I felt as if a rush of recollection has come over me that softened my heart. All our cares and wants since we've been married seemed to speak to me and say they'd made us one, and that I never could have been, or would have been, any other than the wife and mother I am. Oh, how could I have ever behaved so? Oh, look! That man in the shop! What does he want?
Whatever's the matter? How you shake?
He's the one I saw in the street just now. I'm afraid of him.
Afraid of him? Why?
I can't remember. Oh, what is it that's going from me again? What is it?
What may be your pleasure, sir, with us?
I fear that my coming in unnoticed has alarmed you, but you were talking and did not hear me.
My little woman there says it's not the first time you've alarmed her tonight.
I am sorry, I had no intention of frightening her. My name is Redlaw, and I lecture at a college nearby. A young gentleman who is a student there lodges in your house, I believe.
Mr. Denham's room is upstairs, sir, if you wish to see him. I'll light your way, if you'll follow me up this little staircase.
No, I'd rather go alone. He does not expect me. Please, give me the candle, and I'll find my own way.
Very well, sir. Come! Here! There's enough of this! Get to bed there!
The place is small enough without you!
Get to bed!
What has upset them?
What have I done?
Redlaw was beginning to understand enough of what he was and what he made of others to fear contact with his fellow man.
Is that you, Millie? Mr. Redlaw?
Don't get up from your couch. I will sit here, by the door. I heard by accident that one of my class was ill and alone. As luck would have it, I have found him.
An attack of fever has weakened me, sir, but I'm greatly better. I cannot say I have been alone in my illness, or I should be forgetting my kind nurse.
You were speaking of Millie, the caretaker's wife?
Yes, sir.
I remember your name, and now I recollect your face, though we have had very little personal communication together.
Very little.
Why have you tried to keep your situation from me?
Mr. Redlaw, I fear you have discovered my secret. But think how innocent I am, except in name and descent of any wrong inflicted on you.
Wrong?
For heaven's sake, sir, let me return to my old, reserved and distant place among your students. Know me only as Denham, the name I have assumed, and not by that of Longford.
Longford?
My mother's name, sir. The name she took when she might perhaps have taken one more honoured. My parents' marriage was not a happy one, and from my infancy my mother has spoken of you with honour and respect. It may be presumptuous of me to mention the subject, but since you once felt no common interest in my mother, it may mean something to hear with what affection I have regarded you, and how reluctantly I have kept aloof from your encouragement.
Remain where you are. Don't come nearer to me. What have I to do with your distempered dreams? If you want money, here it is. I came to offer it, and for no other reason.
Take back your purse, sir. I wish you could take the memory of your words from me, too.
You do?
I do.
I can see very well now, thank you, Dolph. Don't cry, dear.
Millie.
Father and Mother will...
I'm afraid to meet her. There is a quality of goodness in her that I fear I might influence. Hide me!
There is an inner room in there, sir. Come in.
Dear Mr. Edmund, they told me you had a visitor.
As you see, Millie, there is no one else here.
Then I'll sit with you a while. Your pillows are not comfortable. I will soon put them right.
Please leave them alone. You make such a fuss over everything.
I'm sure health will seem more precious to you after this illness than it has ever been, Mr. Edmund. I've seen you so touched by the kindness of the poor people downstairs. You must have thought that without some trouble and sorrow we should never know half the good there is around us.
The people downstairs will be paid for any little extra service they may have rendered me. I can't be made to feel more obliged to them by your exaggerating the case, Millie. I am much obliged to you, too. What more do you want? I have had an indisposition which your solicitude makes a great deal more of than it merits, and now it's over.
Would you rather be alone, Mr. Edmund? You don't seem yourself at the moment.
There is no reason to detain you.
If you should need me, I will come back willingly. But you mustn't be afraid that I shall be troublesome to you. You owe me nothing. Good night, Mr. Edmund.
What I have overheard sickens me.
Oh, what have you done? What change have you wrought in me? Give me back myself.
Give me back myself. I am infected. I am infectious. Where I felt interest, compassion, sympathy, I'm turning into stone. Selfishness and ingratitude spring up in my footsteps. But I am not sunk so low that I cannot hate the wretches I transform.
As Redlaw spoke, the young man caught at his cloak, but he threw him off and struck him before rushing wildly into the cold night air, where the phantom's words loomed in the darkness. The gift that I have given, you shall give again, go where you will. As he was going along, Redlaw recollected that of those with whom he had communicated since the phantom's disappearance, only the boy who had rushed into his room had shown no sign of being changed. He determined to seek out the wild thing, to prove if this were so, and hurriedly directed his steps back to the keeper's lodge.
Get up, boy. You have not forgotten me.
You let me alone. This is the woman's house, not yours.
Where is the woman's husband and the old man?
Out. Something's the matter. They were sent for in a hurry and told me to stop here.
Come with me, and I'll give you more shillings than you ever saw. Do you know the way back to where you came from?
I'm not going to take you there. Let me be, or I'll heap some live coals at you.
Listen, boy. You may take me where you please, but take me where the people are very miserable or very wicked. I want to do them good by making them forget, not harm them.
Give me some money first. Oh.
There. Now come!
Redlaw followed the savage creature, who led the way, shifting his money from his hand into his mouth and back again, and stealthily rubbing it bright upon his shreds of clothes. Redlaw stopped briefly to listen to a plaintive strain of music he thought he heard, and glanced down at the child. He shuddered as he saw with horror that the expression on the boy's face was the same as his own, without humanity or pity. They journeyed on for some time until they arrived at a ruinous collection of houses. The boy touched Redlaw's arm and stopped. He pointed to one house where there were lights in the windows and a dim lantern in the doorway with "Lodgings for Travellers" painted on it.
In there! I'll wait outside.
Will they let me in?
Say you're a doctor. There's plenty ill here.
Redlaw saw him trail himself upon the dust and crawl within the shelter of an arch as if he were a rat. He had no pity for the thing, but feared it. And when it looked at him with that frightful likeness of expression on its face, Redlaw hurried into the house as a retreat. He pushed open the yielding door and placed his hand upon the broken stair rail. He passed a man who drew back with much emotion in his manner, and, as if by a sudden impulse, mentioned Redlaw's name aloud. Redlaw had no time to consider, however, for, to his greater amazement, he was greeted by old Philip Swidger.
Mr. Redlaw, how like you, sir. You've come after us to render any help you can, but you're too late. Come in, sir. Here's my son William, too.
Who is the man on the bed?
My eldest son, George. It was more his mother's pride than all the rest.
As I entered the house, I saw a man who seemed to know me. Who was he?
A gambler and a ne'er-do-well, I'm afraid, sir. Having been wayfaring towards London with my unhappy brother, he come to fetch us.
Father?
My boy.
You spoke just now of my having been my mother's favourite. It's dreadful to think now of what happened long ago.
No, it does me good, George. Your mother loved you dearly, and with her last breath said, "Tell him I forgave him, blessed him, and prayed for him." Those were her words to me, and I've never forgotten them, though I'm 87.
Do I see a man in a black cloak over there?
Why, yes, George, it's Mr. Redlaw.
Oh, ask him to come here. My time is very short, but what I can do right, I'll try to do. Mr. Redlaw, there was another man here just now.
I saw him downstairs.
He's penniless and destitute. Look after him. Lose no time. I know he has it in mind to kill himself. Don't you know him? Don't you remember?
No,
Then, damn you! To the devil with you!
William, come away from here. We'll go home.
Are you going to leave your son?
That's no son of mine. No such rest as that has any claim on me. My children are pleasant to look at, and they're useful and wait upon me. I've a right to it. I'm 87.
You're old enough to get no older. I don't know what good you are. We could have a deal more pleasure without you.
The cold eye with which William now regarded his father impressed itself no more on Redlaw's observation. He broke his way from the spot to which he seemed to have been fixed, and ran out of the house. His guide came crawling forth from his refuge, and readily obeyed his instructions to take them back to the college. The chemist made no pause until they reached his chamber, where the boy withdrew behind the table and watched him as he made the door fast. The stillness of the room was broken at last by a knock at the door.
It's Lily, sir. Please let me in.
What is the matter?
My brother-in-law is worse, and his father has turned childish in a moment. William himself is changed. Oh, Mr. Redlaw, help me.
I am the last one who can help.
George has been muttering in his sleep about the man you saw there, who was your friend once, long ago.
Let me out! I want to go back to the woman.
Shadow of myself, come back and haunt me day and night.
Let me
Undo what I have done and restore those whom I have cursed.
Redlaw, he will kill himself. He was your friend. Let me in.
A ghostly silence succeeded to the knocking. In time, the boy fell asleep, and in his chair the chemist sat, like a man turned to stone. He raised his head and saw the phantom standing looking at him. It was not alone, but was that really Milly beside it, smiling down on the sleeping child?
Do not bring her here.
This is merely a shadow. When morning comes, seek out the reality whose image I present before you.
To destroy her peace and make her what I am myself.
I have said, seek her out. Nothing more.
Can she set right the wrongs I have done?
Seek her out.
I will obey you, But there is one thing I would ask. Why has this child been proof against my influence?
This wretched creature has been abandoned since birth to a worse condition than the beasts, and has received no humanizing touch to make a softening memory of sorrow or wrong spring up in its hardened heart. Woe tenfold to the nation that counts its monsters such as this by hundreds and thousands. He is the perfect example of what you chose to become, and you can banish nothing from his memory. He is the symbol of man's indifference, you of man's presumption.
Redlaw stooped beside the boy, and with the compassion he now felt for both of them, covered him up as he slept. Soon the sun rose, red and glorious, turning the smoke and vapour of the city to a cloud of gold. The Tetterbys were up and doing, though their tempers were sadly changed. The hand of every little Tetterby was against the other little Tetterbys, and even Johnny's hand rose against the baby.
You brute! You murdering little boy!
Why don't her teeth come through then, instead of bothering me? How would you like it? If you was me, you'd go for a soldier. I will too. There ain't no babies in the army.
I wish I was in the army myself. I'm a slave here. I never have holiday from one year's end to another year's end. Why don't you do anything, Dolphus? You better read the paper than do nothing at all.
What's there to read in a paper?
Police, suicides,
No business of mine.
births, marriages and deaths. Are those nothing to you?
I don't see why births or deaths should interest me till it's my turn. As to marriage, I've done it myself. I know quite enough about him.
How old and shabby he looks. I never saw such a change in a man. Oh, dear me, it was a sacrifice.
If you mean your marriage, my good woman, I was the sacrifice, and I wish the sacrifice hadn't been accepted.
You can't wish it more than I do, Tetterby.
I don't know what I ever saw in her. She's fat, she's aging, she don't compare with other women.
He's common-looking, he's small, he's beginning to stoop, and he's going bald.
I must have been half out of my mind when I did it.
My senses must have forsook me.
I can see Mrs. William coming down the street.
Why? Oh, Lord, forgive me. What evil tempers have I been given way to?
How could I have ever treated him badly again after all I said last night?
Sophia, my little woman, I shall never forgive myself.
So it was me. Me?
No, I wondered how I'd ever admired you and thought you didn't look, well, as slim as I could wish.
And I thought you were small. And so you are.
Yeah.
And I'll make much of you because of it.
Oh, Mary, this is Mrs. William.
Are you all so glad to see me too this bright Christmas morning?
We are.
Mr. Redlaw came to see me at sunrise and implored me to go with him to the house where William's brother is lying ill. When we went into the room, the sick man sat up in his bed and, bursting into tears, stretched out his arms to me and entreated me to ask his poor old father for his pardon and his blessing. He held my hand until he sank into a doze. All this has made me very happy.
Dear kind nurse, forgive me. I heard the children calling out your name, and suddenly I was myself again. Oh, dear Milly, don't weep. Don't reproach me so.
It's not that. No, it's joy. Oh, dear. Now, there is news from home, Mr. Edmund.
Johnny, you come along with us.
Your not writing when you were very ill created some suspicion of the truth. Your fiancée was unable to rest without satisfying her doubts and came up to town last night. She came directly to the college and I spoke to her before sunrise.
Where is she now?
Why, she is in my little parlour at the lodge, waiting to see you. Now hurry!
When Milly arrived back at the lodge, Mr. Redlaw was already there. Old Philip was sitting sullenly in his chair, coldly watched by William. But As Milly came in, and father and son both turned to look at her, a radiant change came upon their faces, and they threw wide their arms to embrace her.
Why, where has my quiet mouse been all this time? But I fancy I've been dreaming.
Well, that's what I say myself, Father. I've been in an ugly sort of dream, I think. How are you, Father?
Well, it's strong and brave, my boy. Begging your pardon, Mr. Redlaw, but seeing you here on a Christmas morning reminds me of when you were a student. Yes, I recollect you came here one Christmas morning with a young lady. Asking your pardon, but I think it was a sister you was very much attached to.
I had a sister.
Well, it began to snow, and my wife invited your sister to sit by the fire burning in the great dinner hall. As I was stirring up the blaze for her to warm her feet by, she read the scroll out loud that's underneath the picture, "Lord, keep my memory green." If I should die, she said, may the Lord keep my brother's memory of me green, and not let me be forgotten.
You speak to me of what I cannot follow. My memory is gone, and I have lost all that man would remember.
Mr. Redlaw, can you remember what I said about someone who was your friend and stood on the verge of destruction?
Yes, I remember that.
Well, he is the father of Mr. Edmund, the student who has been ill. His real name is Longford.
I recollect the name. Did he ever wrong me?
Yes.
Oh, then it's hopeless. Hopeless.
I went back to the house last night alone and thank God managed to trace him. I was not a moment too soon. He's waiting outside, sir. Let me bring him in.
Very well.
Come in, sir. See how low he's sunk, how lost he is. Do you not think it would move your pity if you could remember all that was connected with him long ago? Seems to me to be a good thing we remember wrong that has been done us, that we may forgive it.
Indeed. Pardon me, great heaven, for throwing away thine own high attribute.
Perhaps you now see Mr. Longford in a clearer light.
I do.
He cannot go home. He knows that he could only carry shame and trouble to those he had so cruelly neglected. A little money would enable him to live and try to atone for the wrong he's done his unfortunate wife and son.
It shall be done. Tell him that I would forgive him if I were so happy as to know how he wronged me.
Come closer, Mr. Longford.
You are so generous, Redlaw, that you will try to banish your feeling that the force of retribution has been at work when you look at this decayed wretch standing before you. But I do not try to banish it from myself. I took my first downward step the day I dealt falsely by you and took your loved one from you. I might have been a different man if I had avoided that first fatal step. Your sister is at rest, and better off than she could have been with me, even if I were the man you once thought me. Without this kind lady's help, I should have made my own grave last night, and I have dared to come here, at her suggestion, to take your bounty, and to thank you for it. I hope my son may deserve your interest for his mother's sake.
As he went out, he raised his eyes to Redlaw, who looked him in the face and held out his hand. Longford, returning, touched it with both his own, and slowly left the room. The chemist dropped into a chair, his face in his hands, as Milly knelt down to put some warm clothing on the boy.
You know, sir, there's a motherly feeling in Mrs. William's breast that must and will out. I wish we had one of our own to love and cherish. She built such hopes on our little dead baby.
Oh, I am not unhappy, though I think of it every day. It is a comfort to me. It speaks to me in many ways. It has given me greater sympathy for others' disappointed hopes. When I see a beautiful child, I love it all the better, thinking my child might have been like that, and I am proud and happy.
Milly, You are the spirit of goodness and affection, and by your teaching an example of pure, unselfish love, I feel my memory is being restored to me, and I thank God for it.
So Redlaw folded Milly to his heart as the student entered, leading by the hand a lovely young girl, and he embraced them too and entreated them to be his children. Then he laid his hand upon the child and vowed to protect and teach him. Then he shook old Philip's hand and said that they would hold a Christmas dinner in the great dinner hall. And it was done. Gazing from the darkness of the panelled wall like life, the sedate face in the portrait with the beard and ruff looked down at them all from under its verdant wreath of holly, and clear and plain below, as if a voice had uttered them, were the words, "Lord, keep my memory green."
In The Haunted Man and the Ghost's Bargain by Charles Dickens, dramatised for radio by Jill Brooke, Charles Dickens was played by John Moffat, Redlaw, Michael Tudor Barnes, and Millie Swidger, Dilys Lay. William Swidger, Ronald Herdman, Philip Swidger, Godfrey Kenton, George Swidger, Timothy Carlton, Adolphus Tetterby, Timothy Bateson, Sophia Tetterby, Maxine Audley, Johnny Tetterby, Stuart Heath, Adolphus Tetterby Jr., Winston Ede, the boy, Ricky Belsham, and Denham, Andrew Winkert. The play was produced by Glyn Dearman and directed by Kay Patrick.
The Cricket on the Hearth. The National Broadcasting Company presents Charles Dickens' immortal Christmas story, The Cricket on the Hearth.
Old Caleb Plummer and his blind daughter lived all alone by themselves in a little cracked nutshell of a wooden house. And what a miserable little place it was. But under its crazy little roof lived the man who did the work which made Gruff and Tackleton famous. You see, Gruff and Tackleton sold toys, and it was Caleb Plummer who made them. Yes, Caleb Plummer made toys and lived in his shabby little house, while Gruff and Tackleton became the largest toy merchants in all England. And so, even on the night before Christmas, Caleb Plummer sat in the toy shop, carving away industriously at some last-minute animal.
There now, just a shade more off the flanks. A little curve to the horns, and you'll be the finest little ox to go into the ark. Be a good little ox. Keep warm. Make somebody happy tomorrow for Christmas. I'm coming. Just a moment. Oh, Mr. Tackleton. Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Tackleton.
What's that?
Merry Christmas to you, sir. The best you've ever had.
Christmas? Oh, that. I didn't come here to talk about Christmas, Plummer. Don't believe in it. Have no use for it except in a business way. What about those orders? Have you finished the jack-in-the-box?
Yes, sir. Here it is. Look.
Oh, take it away, horrible thing.
The children love them, sir.
Ah, the children. Don't mention their names to me. Spent my life making toys for them. I'm sick of children. Sick of toys. Let's hear no more about it. What of the ark?
I just put the last animal inside. It's ready to go now.
How about Noah?
Up in front on the deck. See him? And here at the window is Noah's wife. See, through this porthole.
All right. Just so you've got them. Well, you can run along now, Plummer.
You won't need me any more tonight, then?
No, but come in a little earlier tomorrow morning to make up for it.
But tomorrow is Christmas, sir.
Well, what of it?
But on Christmas? Surely you don't mean...
Surely I do mean it. Have you forgotten your place, Mr. Plummer? If you feel the need of taking Christmas off, why, there are 100 good toy makers in London who would be glad to take your place. Why, sir, they'd fight for the chance.
You mean you'd dismiss me if I didn't come in tomorrow?
That's right, Plummer. Out you'd go, just like that.
But my daughter...
She's your daughter, not mine. I can't stop business just because you've got a daughter and she's blind. Business is a thing which doesn't wait for Christmas or your daughter or anything else. Now, will you or won't you be in tomorrow?
I'll be in, sir.
And an hour earlier, too.
Yes, sir. Please, sir, if you could advance me a little, just a little, on next week's pay.
Advance you? What about last week's pay? Have you squandered it already?
No, sir. It went for food and for canvas to tack up over the ceiling.
And what's wrong with the ceiling?
There are holes in places. The snow drifts in at night sometimes, so we just thought we'd buy canvas and not trouble you with our silly problem.
Yeah.
So, you see, our money, it didn't quite stretch, and, well...
Well, what? Speak up, Plummer.
Well, it's gone, sir.
Are you without food?
No, sir, but...
You have wood for the stove?
Yes, sir.
Sufficient covering for the bed?
Yes, sir.
In other words, you're asking me for money when you already have food, warmth, and a bed to lie in? Plummer, that's downright greed. As for the advance, no. You spent your past wages, now you must wait until next week. You must learn thrift.
But could you... Only a few pence, that's all. She's blind, sir. All alone in the house, all day. In the dark, all alone. Nothing to live for but her father's footstep on the stairs. Please, sir, a tree would mean so much to her.
I'm sorry, Plummer. There's no good working on my sentiment. I'm determined to teach you a lesson, and teach you I shall, even though it hurts me to do so. Good night, Plummer. And remember, 1 hour earlier tomorrow morning, Christmas or no Christmas.
Caleb Plummer walked home very slowly that night, the only sad and dismal figure on the crowded street. Everywhere else, there was Christmas. The whole street was alive and warm with the joy of Christmas. You could hear it in the laughter of their voices as they shouted back and forth.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas to you, sir!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, Harry!
Merry Christmas, Al!
You could see Christmas in the small boys and girls. They stood before the greengrocer's window and stared with round eyes at the things inside.
Look at that turkey. Would you look at that turkey?
Oh, he's the biggest turkey I ever saw.
No, he's not the biggest, but he's almost the biggest. The one Grandma had last year was the biggest.
Was not. The wings on this one are bigger.
They are not.
They are so.
They are not.
They are so.
They are not. They are so.
You could see Christmas in the shops. They were crammed full of it, bursting with it. Christmas overflowed from their cheerful interiors like stuffing from a roast fowl. There were mince pies on the counters with a sprig of holly stuck in each one, and baked hams stuck full of cloves like huge red pincushions. And all of it together, breathing the warmth and cheer of Christmas morrow. Everywhere there was Christmas. Everywhere except in the heart of Caleb Plummer. He walked around the square, scarcely looking in the shops, scarcely aware of the crowds that jostled against him. He just plodded along, very tired, very old, very much alone. And then, almost before he knew it, he was home.
Father, it's you. For a moment I didn't recognize your step. It was so different. You must be tired tonight.
Tired? What a silly girl you are. Your father's much too young a man to grow tired. How was the day, Mary?
Oh, not too long. I sewed dolls' dresses all morning. And then this afternoon, I put shoe button eyes on the animals.
If it were only as easy to...
To put eyes on me. That's what you were going to say, wasn't it? Sometimes I wish I could, too. Just look at the world through shoe button eyes. But, well, it really doesn't matter too much. I have my own world here. It's a kind and comfortable world. Perhaps that's because I've always seen it through your eyes.
Do you mean that, Mary?
Yes.
But all the same, you do want to see, don't you?
Oh, sometimes, yes. When I'm alone here, and the clock ticks, and the darkness is all over. Times like that, if it weren't for the cricket, I don't think I could...
Is he still here?
Oh, yes.
And he still chirps away?
All the time. He keeps me from being lonely.
They say it's luck, Mary. To have a cricket on the hearth is the luckiest thing in the world.
Father, is anything wrong? You seem so quiet tonight, and you speak strangely.
Oh, not a thing, girl, not a thing. A hard day at the shop, but that's all.
Oh, that's not the real reason, Father. But now I know what it is.
What?
Without asking, I know there's a fir tree in the room. Your step didn't have its usual lightness tonight, and that's what you were carrying. You even set it down without my hearing it. It's true, isn't it, Father?
Yes, it's true, Mary.
Oh, where is it? Let me feel its branches.
Oh, it's in the far corner of the room. Right near the window where it's cool.
Oh, lead me over to it, Father.
No, not tonight. Tomorrow morning, bright and early. Oh, on Christmas morning. That's when a tree should first be discovered.
Oh, but can't I even touch it?
Tomorrow morning, yes.
Oh, then see it for me now. What does it look like?
It's a young tree. Dark and bushy, with its branches curving up to heaven. The cones on it are tiny and dry, and there's still a few snowflakes left in the branches. It's a Christmas tree, Mary. So small, so filled with greenness and life, that the Christ child himself might have blessed it and sent it here to us. It's a Christmas tree such as you've never dreamed of.
And so, on that Christmas Eve, Mary dreamed of a small fir tree with bright berries of holly entwined in its branches. She dreamed of snow and the jingling of sleigh bells, and she saw the Yule log burn cheerfully in the fireplace. She heard the chestnuts pop and crackle, and from somewhere on the hearth, she even heard the voice of her merry friend, the cricket. Outside, the church bells rang and pealed and reverberated over the white roofs of London. And inside, the cricket chirped as though he, too, would add his bit of praise to that of the bells. Lying there on his cot, shivering in the coldness of the room, Caleb Plummer closed his eyes. In the silence of his heart, he spoke as though to a friend.
Don't let her find out now, dear Lord. She doesn't have to know that I am an old man and that it's a hovel here. She doesn't have to know that. I've given her another world. Maybe it's a make-believe one, but it's real to her. That's why I say, Lord, please keep it that way for her. Don't let her find out. I believe if you set a tree down in that corner tonight, it would be there tomorrow. It really would, Lord, and I believe it. Please make a miracle. Please let a tree be there when she wakes up tomorrow.
Caleb Plummer fell asleep, believing in a miracle. And the cricket began to chirp again, and his song was like a blessing to the room. But in another quarter of the city, Tackleton slept. To say that he slept is perhaps a whimsical way to put it. His body slept, but his mind, that was a different thing. Dream after dream succeeded each other in rapid sequence. One minute he was jumping from star to star, like someone crossing a river on stones. And the next moment, he had missed one of the stars and dropped like a plummet back to earth again. Tackleton had nightmares. Tackleton had a whole year of nightmares rolled into one. Somewhere past the hour of 4, the nightmares quit galloping about and went off to their stables. And peace came at last to poor Tackleton's brains. But only for a moment, because the next thing he knew, the covers whisked from his bed, and invisible force propelled him violently to a chair. Something pushed him down hard. And this is what happened to Tackleton.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The court is now in session. Quiet. Quiet, I say. Quiet. Order in the courtroom. I am Noah. I am captain of this ark. I want no more interruption from any of you. Now to the prisoner Tackleton. Who's for the defense? Come now. Who's for the prisoner Tackleton? What do you say, Captain Kidd?
Not me, Captain Noah. And not any of us dolls here. I'm for hoisting him to the order myself. How about the rest of you?
Quiet. Quiet, I say. Quiet. Captain Kidd, this is an English court, sir, and the principles of law and order will be obeyed. Now, who will defend the prisoner Tackleton? No one? Then the prisoner must defend himself. Tackleton, rise to your feet and face the courtroom. What do you see before you, sir?
Animals, birds, toys of all sorts, Your Worship.
That's quite right, Tackleton. Toys. You've been selling us for years. Now we've come to try you. What of the man who makes us?
I don't know.
Where is he?
Home.
Is it a good home?
Yes, a very good home.
And food. Does he have enough to eat?
Oh, yes, I pay him bountifully.
And his daughter? Is she well provided for?
Oh, yes, Your Worship. She's blind. And I want her to have the best of everything.
In short, you are a good employer. You take care of this man well.
Yes, Your Worship. He lives like a prince.
Order in the court. Order, I say. Order. Prisoner, listen to your perjury thrown back at your teeth. Bailiff, bring forward the detective Christopher Dogberry. Christopher Dogberry, you were the paid agent of the assembled toys, yeah?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell us about your findings in this case.
Well, in the first place, the prisoner here is a downright liar.
Order! Go on with the story, Dogberry, and please refrain from indulging in personalities.
Sorry, Your Honor. Well, I've been snooping around. Investigating said house of Caleb Plummer. And, sir, if you'll pardon my saying it, it's an owl that no self-respecting rat would live in. But there's one wonderful thing about it, sir, and it's this. That girl, she don't know nothing about how bad it is. No eyes to see with. She believes what he tells her. And it seems to me, sir, he's done with her what he's done with us. Out of an old block of wood, he's made the forms of all of us. And out of a sad and dirty world, he's given her a world for a fine lady to live in.
Silence! Order! Order, I say! Prisoner, you've heard the testimony. Is it true or false?
It's true.
You will confess to each and every crime?
Yes, but spare me. Have mercy.
Did you have mercy today when Caleb Plummer asked you for a few pence to buy a tree?
No, we didn't.
Prisoner, all of us here, dolls and animals and toys and birds, all of us that Caleb Plummer has carved so well, we are leaving you in a body, sir, and are going to the warehouses of your competitors. And without us, you will go bankrupt. This is the sentence of the court.
Oh, one more chance, Your Worship, just one more. I'll do anything, just so you'll all stay here on my shelf.
What will you do?
Whatever you say, just mention it. I'll do it.
Will you raise the wages of Caleb Plummer?
Yes. I'll do that today when he comes in.
But today is Christmas. Have you forgotten?
Oh, to be sure. No, he won't have to come in today. But tomorrow, yes, I'll raise his wages then.
And the house?
I'll give him a better house, a real house, a fine one, a beauty, I promise.
And Christmas. What about that?
I'll take care of that, too. I'll take care of it all, I promise you. They'll have the biggest turkey you ever saw, and a tree, and everything else besides. Please, Your Worship, there are the bells ringing now. It's Christmas morning. Give me a chance to show I mean right.
Prisoner, the court will show mercy if you too will show mercy. But if you ever fail once, beware.
And when Tackleton woke up, he was sitting in his bedroom chair, weeping and laughing and shivering with the clear Christmas air that filled the room. Tackleton went to the window and looked out. Never before had the world looked so bright, so cheerful, so filled with hope and promise. When he remembered Caleb Plummer, he scurried across the room to his wardrobe closet and began frantically to dress himself. It was still early yet. He hurried. He still would have time. If only his fingers wouldn't fumble so with the buttons, and if only his hands wouldn't shake so much. He almost tumbled down the stairway in his eagerness to get to the shop. And here is how a miracle came to pass.
Hello there, storekeeper. Chestnuts, fruit, pies, tarts. Bother the price. Baskets full. Yes, pile them high, and the best of everything. Holly, mistletoe. Yes, and there it is, the very thing. A little fir tree. I want some hams, those little ones. And a turkey, the biggest, fattest one you have.
Through the snow-covered streets, through the half-light of early morning, Mr. Tackleton hurried, his arms laden with gifts. And later that morning, when Caleb Plummer awoke, he found that the miracle he'd prayed for had come to pass. But whether it was the prayer, or whether it was the surprising Mr. Tackleton, or whether it was the cricket singing so merrily on the hearth, he couldn't say. All he knew was that a miracle had happened and that the cricket was the first thing he had heard when he woke up. But then he found a note. A few brief words pinned to the coverlet of his bed.
Take the day off.
The note was signed with the single word,
Tackleton.
Quickly, Caleb Plummer stepped across the room to his daughter's cot and wakened her.
Mary! Mary, it's Christmas morning. Hear the bells.
I hear them. Oh, Father, the tree. Can I discover it now?
Let me lead you there. Here, take my hand. And the things you'll find under it. Mary, remember what I said yesterday? A cricket on the hearth is the luckiest thing in the world.
And so our story ends with the chirping of the cricket. May his joyous Christmas carol bring luck to your hearth too, so that all of us may one day sing it as he so cheerfully does. Peace on earth, goodwill to men.
You have just heard Frederick J. Lipp's adaptation of Charles Dickens' Christmas masterpiece, The Cricket on the Hearth. Mr. Tackleton was played by Arthur Sedgwick, with Charles Eggleston as Caleb Plummer. Everett Clark was the narrator. The orchestra was under the direction of Joseph Colicchio, with original music by Dr. Roy Shield. The entire production was under the direction of Albert Cruz. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Theater presents Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. This is a very special occasion for me. I'm to be a little more than your host. This time, I will not only be introducing the story, but telling it to you, acting it out. The Mystery Theater's special Christmas story this year, Charles Dickens' immortal classic, A Christmas Carol, with Guess Who as Scrooge. Bah, humbug. Our mystery drama, A Christmas Carol, was adapted from the Charles Dickens classic especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol begins like this. Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt about that whatever. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it. Old Marley was dead as a doornail. Ebenezer Scrooge? Oh, he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire. Solitary as an oyster. He iced his office in the dog days and didn't thaw it out 1 degree, even at Christmas.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
What? Oh, it's you, nephew.
What brings you here on a miserable, cold, windy night like tonight?
Cold and windy, yes, and the snow falling softly. A perfect Christmas Eve to say, Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Humbug.
Christmas, a humbug? Oh, you don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry, or the world at large? What reason have you yourself to be merry? You're poor enough.
Oh, come then. What reason have you to be dismal? What reason have you to be morose? You're rich enough.
Don't you taunt me, Fred. Bah! Don't indulge yourself in expectations.
Humbug. Take me as I am, Uncle, and as the season is, and don't be cross.
Where else can I be when I live in a world of fools? Christmas. Phooey. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money? Time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own plum pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Oh, come along, Uncle. Can you not let down for once and enjoy yourself?
Come along, nephew. Keep Christmas in your own way. Let me keep it in mine.
Yes, but you don't keep it.
Leave me alone, then. Much good it may do you. Much good has it ever done you?
Oh, there are a lot of things, Uncle, from which I've never profited. Christmas among the rest. Except that when it comes around, who can resist it? A kind of forgiving time of year when men and women seem by one consent to open up their hearts freely. So then I say, Uncle, though it never put a scrap of silver or gold in my pocket, I believe it has and will do me good, and so I say, God bless it.
Who's that? What's all that there?
I'm sorry, Mr. Scrooge. It's just that it is a holiday, and my hands were so cold.
Just let me hear another word from you, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your employment.
Oh, please, sir, I humbly beg your pardon. It was just an action on the spur of the moment.
Just apply the spur to goad you into finishing your work, Cratchit, and let's hear no more from you.
Yes, sir.
Well, nephew, why are you here?
To ask you to dine with us tomorrow.
Dine with you? Never. There's nothing more ridiculous than all the fuss and expense over Christmas dinner.
Oh, Uncle, I want and ask nothing from you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
And with all my heart, I'm sorry to find you so resolute. But at least, I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. And be sure to make the front door fast. No wasting of heat here. No extra logs on the fire.
Yes, Uncle. Mr. Cratchit.
Yes, sir.
May I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
The first I am sure of, and I thank you. The other...
who knows what the future holds. Be of good hope.
The nerve of all of them. My nephew, a wastrel, and Bob Cratchit on 15 shillings a week with a wife and family talking about a Merry Christmas. It's enough to make a man retire to Bedlam. They're all mad.
Begging your pardon, Mr. Scrooge, a gentleman to see you.
Yes.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the honor of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley's been dead for 7 years. He died 7 years ago this very night.
Ah, sad. Sad indeed. Still, I have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner.
Liberality?
At this festive season, it is more than usually desirable that we all make some slight provision for the poor and destitute. You may make your pledge here.
Are there no prisons?
We speak of the needy.
The union workhouses are not still in operation.
They are. I wish I could say they were not. A few of us private citizens are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. What shall I put you down for, Mr. Scrooge?
Nothing.
Of course, you wish to be anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. By tax, I help to support the establishments we have mentioned. They cost enough and more. Let those who are badly off go there.
Many can't go there. And many would rather die.
They would rather die than let them do so and decrease the surplus population. Good afternoon, sir, whatever your name is.
I find you hard to believe, Mr. Scrooge.
Cratchit, let him out. Close the door, Cratchit, to extinguish what coals remain.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Come here.
Coming, Mr. Scrooge.
You'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose.
It's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. If I was to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'd be bound.
Well, sir,
yet you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
I would not presume to have an opinion, but then it is only one day a year.
Yeah, poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. I suppose I have no choice. You must have the whole day. Just make sure you're here earlier the following morning. I dined my usual melancholy dinner in the usual melancholy tower. Afterwards, climbed the stairs to my living quarters in the gloom. Something about my door knocker stopped me as I was about to put the key in lock. For one strange moment, it looked like Marley. Ghostly spectacles turned up on its ghostly forehead. To say that I was not startled would not be strictly true. And even after I was entered and locked in and my candle lit, I did pause irresolutely before I dismissed it with humbug. Humbug. Still, I was uneasy. Trimming my candle, I walked through all my rooms to make sure all was well. Sitting room, bedroom, lumber room, all as it should be. Small fire in the grate, spoon and basin ready, little saucepan of gruel, since I had a cold. What's that? The front door. The side door. The bell by my bed. The one on the mantel and on the sideboard. What do they herald? Who rings them? The cellar door. And that noise. What? I won't believe it. It's humbug still. Grim Spectre, what do you want with me? Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you, then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley. You don't believe in me?
I don't.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You may be a bit of undigested beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of underdone potato. There's more of gravy about you than the grave, wherever you are. Humbug, I tell you, humbug.
Unbeliever! So, I unwrapped the bandages from about my head to reveal the rotting flesh, the jaw fallen slackly to my breast, the muscles eaten long since by worms. Now, do you believe me for who and what I am?
Yes, oh, mercy, dread apparition. Why do you trouble me?
I must.
But why are you fettered and bound in chains?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it, link by link. I girded it on of my own free will. Is its pattern so strange to you? Or would you learn the weight and length of the coil you wear yourself? It was full and as heavy and as long as mine these 7 Christmas Eves ago. And you have labored on it since. My once partner in life. What a ponderous chain you have built to drag you down in death.
No, Jacob. Oh, Jacob Marley, speak some comfort to me.
I have none to give. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house in life. So, in death, weary journeys lie before me.
7 years dead and traveling all the time?
No rest, no peace. The incessant torture of remorse. I am here tonight, Ebenezer, to warn you that you have yet a hope of escaping my fate.
Oh, you were always a good friend, Sankey.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
That is the hope you mentioned?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you have no hope but to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
But couldn't I take them all at once and have it over?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third, when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate on your mantle clock. And for your own sake, remember what has passed between us. Passed between us.
Jacob, do not leave me yet. But he was gone, as if he had never been. And yet, he had been. And Ebenezer Scrooge would never be the same man again.
He fell asleep without undressing upon the instant. A sleep that was destined to be disturbed, as I shall relate when I return with Act 2. When Scrooge awoke, it was dark, and the chimes of a neighborhood church were striking the 4 quarters. To his amazement, they were followed by 12 strokes of the bell. 12? Impossible. It was 2 when he went to bed.
Why, it isn't possible I could have slept through a whole day and far into another night. As I lay, I suddenly remembered that Marley had said a ghost would visit me at 1. Who are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
Your past. Don't you recognize me?
A strange figure, almost like a child. The outlines dimly seen. It wore a tunic of purest white and a branch of fresh green holly in its hand, in singular contradiction to the dress, which was trimmed with summer flowers. But strangest of all, above its crown sprang a bright, clear jet of light, which illuminated the darkest corner, but obscured the face. And under its arm a cap, which looked for all the world like a candle snuffer. For some reason I wanted it to put on its cap. The light is blinding. Would you not put on your cap?
Would you so soon put out with worldly hands the light I shed? Is it not enough that you are the one who fashioned me this cap and forced me to wear it low upon my brow?
I? What business brings you here?
Your welfare.
Well, if you would regard my welfare, you would leave my sleep unbroken.
Your reclamation, then. Take heed. Rise and walk with me.
I cannot resist your command, but I am an old man, lightly clad and nursing a cold to boot.
Do not deny me. Come. Follow me.
All of a sudden, I was flying, floating on air. The night had vanished, as the city below me, and I was looking down on the country in the clear, cold light of day, with snow dusting the ground. Good heavens! I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
Your lip is trembling. What is that upon your cheek?
Nothing. Nothing. The wind makes my eyes water. Lead me where you will.
Do you not remember the way?
Remember it. I could walk it blindfold.
Strange to have forgotten it so many years. Let us set our feet on the road.
I will not tell you most of where we wandered as time stood still or raced ahead at a whim. The school where I was a child. The house I grew up in, an orphan. A terrible rush of tears remembering another outcast, a foreigner, an alien who in our mutual loneliness had once befriended me. Poor Ali Baba. It's too late now.
What is too late?
Nothing. There was a boy singing a Christmas carol at my door last night. I should like to have given him something, that's all.
What might have been. Let us see another Christmas.
What's that?
Your aunt, who brought you up, passed away.
Oh, no.
A delicate creature whom a breath might have withered. But she had a large heart.
Amen to that. I will not gainsay it, Spirit.
When she died, she had, I think, children.
One child.
True. Your nephew.
Yes. We traveled further, scenes flashing by like slides in a magic lantern. Old Fezziwig in his Welsh wig, my first employer. His Christmas parties with a groaning table and everyone dancing with a light foot and heart to the festive music. His kind wife and the joy of working at a desk one wasn't nailed to. And then someone I had shut away so long ago.
What is it, Scrooge?
That girl.
Whom you shall sit beside.
No.
Oh, yes. This shadow most of all. Don't you remember me?
I told you the light blinds me.
Then remember me as I was, before you put my light out.
No tears, I beg you.
None. If the idol who has replaced me can cheer and comfort you, I must not grieve.
What idol?
A golden one. Nothing but gain engrosses you.
So, if I have grown wiser, I am not changed toward you.
Our marriage contract was made when we were both poor. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Whatever you were, I freely offer you your release.
Have I ever sought it?
In words? Never.
How then?
In a changed nature. In everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. And so I release you with a full heart for the love of what once you were. May you be happy in the life you've chosen.
Now I recognize you, spirits, and why you've come back to haunt me. Torture me no more.
Some shadows still to see.
No, I can bear it no longer. Haunt me no longer. The light you shine is too bright for my eyes to bear. Give me your cap so I may extinguish it, and you. In a puff of smoke, the figure was gone, and I had barely time to reel to my bed, exhausted from the long night's travels, where I fell into a heavy sleep. What's that? The clock ticking away. Awake in the night of time. Almost one. When the second messenger Marley sends me from the grave will arrive. What ghastly shape might he take? What hideous form? What torture might this one plan for me? At least I am prepared for anything. Well, prepared for anything, but nothing. Hello there, spirit. Are you invisible to me? What's that? That great light from beneath my sitting room door. Here's a fearful waste of light, a shocking extravagance. I must go in and douse these candles. Yet I'm afraid to enter.
Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge. Stop skulking there behind your bedroom door. Enter, man. Enter.
Why, here's a prodigal spending of light. In a great roaring blaze, hot enough to set the chimney flue on fire.
Look well on me. Have you never seen the like of me before?
Never.
It is time your eyes were opened to this and other things.
Spirit, I will be no trouble. Conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion, and I learned a lesson which is working now. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Hold fast to my robe.
In the blink of an eye, we were transported to a mean and shabby little house, threadbare but clean as a new washed shirt, and redolent of the mouth-watering smell of goose, basking in sage and onion, and aromas of an eating house and pastry cooks next together, which came from the Christmas pudding.
Whatever has got your precious father, then, and your brother, Tiny Tim? I never remember him, Martha, as late as this on Christmas Day.
What a place is this?
House of your clerk, Bob Cratchit. See, here he comes now.
That child he carries on his shoulder, with a little crutch in his hand, and his lower limbs bound in an iron cage.
Youngest of the Cratchits, Tiny Tim.
Why, look at him struggle after the others as his father sets him down. Where are they off to?
To watch one of the merriest sights of this merriest of seasons. The golden goose turn on the spit. Shh. Listen.
How late you are, my dear, and how cold.
well.
Come, sit you down by the fire and have a warm. Lord bless you.
After I've had a look at that goose, too.
First, tell me, how did Tiny Tim behave through the service?
Oh, as good as gold and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much and thinks the strangest things you ever heard.
And now, what was it this time?
He told me coming home he hoped everyone in the church saw him because he was a cripple.
Oh.
Because it might be pleasant to them to remember upon Christmas Day who it was made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Bob. Oh, I feel so much for you.
No. You must not, my dear. Remember the day. Come, let's join the others.
Tell me, Spirit, will Tiny Tim live?
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a little crutch without an owner. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Oh, no, kind Spirit. Spare him.
That from you recall your own words. If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Oh, I am ashamed.
And should be. Man, if you be man at heart, forbear that wicked cant until you have discovered what a surplus is and where it is. Listen.
A toast before we eat to Mr. Scrooge.
To me?
I'll give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. Oh, I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I'd hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
Oh, my dear, the children, Christmas Day.
Well, I'll drink to his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, you'll be very merry and very happy, I've no doubt.
And now, a Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us. God bless us, everyone.
Yes, Merry.
My very name cast a pall upon their happiness.
But mark you on the wealth of spirit among them, which thought kindly on a man with as little spirit as yours.
In particular, that poor little lad, Tiny Tim. Did you notice how generous he was to end the toast with, God bless us, everyone, including even me? What a valiant little soul, in spite of all his handicaps.
Perhaps your eyes are opening at last. But come, you have more to learn.
Where now?
Your nephew's house. He said that Christmas was a humbug. As I live, he believed it, too.
More shame for him, Fred, that my uncle-in-law should speak so.
Well, he's a comical old fellow and not so pleasant as he might be.
Oh, yes.
However, his offenses carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him. and I will have no downturned mouths at this season. So here's a glass of mulled wine to our hands. Let's drink to the old man.
Well, he has given us plenty of merriment at that. So, to Uncle Scrooge.
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, whatever he is. He wouldn't take it from me, but may he have it nevertheless. To Uncle Scrooge.
To Uncle Scrooge.
No, wait. Let me go to them. Explain.
Too late for me. The hour grows too late. Away.
Where stand we now? This open place.
A crossroads where I must leave you.
Oh, forgive me what I ask, but I see something strange protruding from the skirt of your robe.
That might be a claw for all the flesh there is upon it.
Yes.
Then see what you must see.
From the sanctuary came forth a boy and a girl. Yellow, meager, ragged, scowling, wolfish, but prostrate, too, in their humility. I started back appalled. Spirit, are these yours?
They are man's. The boy is ignorance, the girl is want. Beware of them both and all of their degree, but most of all beware this boy, for on his brow I see written doom, unless the writing can be erased. My time is sounding.
Wait. Have these pitiful creatures no refuge or resource?
I answer in your own words. Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Hold for one moment. Help me. Where should I turn?
Turn and face your future. The black phantom that approaches you now. Face your future. Your future.
As the last stroke of the bell struck 12, Scrooge turned to face a dread figure, a solemn phantom, draped and hooded in blacks and deep grays, coming, creeping like the mist about it towards him. I'll return with Act 3 very The last phantom silently, slowly, gravely approached. It was shrouded in a deep black garment, which concealed its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible save one outstretched hand, which served as its only voice, for the spirit neither spoke nor moved.
I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You answer not, but point where we are to go. Lead on, Spirit, and I will follow. A great black cloud gathered me and carried me willy-nilly to the streets. Its shroud, like the figure that stood by me, hung about me as I listened to two gentlemen talking in the street.
So, Mr. Grimes, old Scratch has got his own at last.
I have been so informed, Mr. Goodfellow. When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
What on earth could he have caught? I thought he'd never die.
God knows. Why should I care?
What has he done with his money?
Heaven knows. Not left to charity, and certainly not to me. Left to his company, perhaps.
God knows he appears not to have had any sort of personal tie.
By which token, it's like to be a very cheap funeral. For upon my life, I cannot think of anybody to go to it.
How dismal and awful to dismiss another human being in such terms. Forgive me, dread ghost. I did not mean to diverge. You wish to reveal something to me? You have my full attention.
Fred, the news is bad.
Bad?
We are quite ruined.
Oh, there's hope for us yet.
If he relents. If he forgives or forgave, there might have been. Oh, but it is too late for the miracle.
Poor, old, miserable boy. He's past relenting. He's dead.
No, wait, Spirit, wait. I'm not ready to leave. What else would you have me look on?
Tell me again about today. About little Tim on the grave.
It would have done you good to see how green a place it is. Oh. But you'll see it often. I promised him I would walk there every other Sunday. My last born. My poor little broken child.
Oh, please. I shall break down with you.
Oh, my darling. We can all try to be brave, but how can we hide our sorrow? What is more final and dreadful than death?
I want to help, Spectre, but something informs me that our parting moment is at hand. Tell me, what man was it I saw lying dead? Very well. You point. Where to this time? A churchyard. And here we are. The headstone. You would have me read it? Tell me, are these the shadows of things that will be or may be only? Oh, my own name, Ebenezer Scrooge. Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I must have been from all this intercourse. Why show me this if I am past all hope? For once, you make no motion. Your nature intercedes for me and pities me. Good Spirit, I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. The three spirits shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, tell me I may sponge away the writing on the stone. Give me your hand, I beg you. Give me your hand. I hold you to me. You cannot disappear. You cannot disappear. You... Oh, bless my soul. What I cling to is my own bedpost. And wait. Perhaps my time is my own to make amends in. Yes, I will live in the past, in the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven and Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, oh, Jacob, on my knees. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather, and I am as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I'm as giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to everyone. A Happy New Year to all the world. Hello there. Oh, hello. Oh, there's the saucepan the gruel was in. There's the door by which the ghost of Jacob Marley entered. There's the corner where I saw the wandering spirits. It's all right. It's true. It all happened. Oh, my God, I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I'm a baby. I don't know what month it is. Throw open the window and rejoin the world. Hey, Mr. Grimes, what's today?
Why, Christmas Day.
Christmas Day? I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. They can do what they like. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow.
Hello. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Do you still run the poulterer's shop in the next street but one? At the corner?
I should hope I did, on my way to open up.
Oh, pray then, Mr. Grimes, do I dare hope you have not yet sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there? Not the little prize turkey, the big prize turkey.
The one as big as an ostrich?
Oh, a delightful man, a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, Mr. Grimes.
It is hanging there now.
Well, what are we waiting for? I want to buy it. Bring it here that I may give directions where to take it. Send back your boy and I'll give him a shilling. Have him bring it back in less than 5 minutes and I'll give him half a crown. Better still, here's a £5 note. Send him to deliver the turkey to Mr. Cratchit by cab. at the address I give you, and what's left shall be your Christmas present and his. Shaving was not an easy task, for my hand was shaking, and shaving demands attention. At last it was finished, and I dressed myself in all my best and issued forth to the streets. The first person I met was a portly gentleman who had walked into my counting house the day before, saying, "Scrooge and Marley's, I believe." I hastened to intercept him. "My dear sir, how do you do?" "I beg your pardon?" "I hope you succeeded yesterday. A Merry Christmas to you, sir." "Mr. Scrooge?" "That is my name. I fear not pleasant to you. Allow me to ask your pardon, and will you have the goodness to allow me to contribute? May I have your ear, sir?" What? Lord bless me. So much? My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you really serious? If you please. Not a farthing less. Will you do me that favor? Oh, my dear sir, I don't know what to say to such
don't say
anything. Come and see me. Will you come and see me? I will indeed. Thank you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you.
Merry Christmas. By all that's holy, is it you, Uncle?
Me, Fred. You did ask me to dinner. Am I too late to take up the invitation?
Too late?
Will you let me in?
Will I let you in? Why, here's the merriest turn a Christmas can take, darling wife. Here's Uncle Scrooge to share our Christmas. Isn't that a present for this day?
You couldn't have brought Fred a better one. Welcome to our home, Uncle.
For only the first of many times, I hope. It's a whole new year.
Yes, and you may spend it all with us if you will.
Only today, for I must be in the office as early as can be. No. Don't steal glances at each other. It isn't business on my mind, but recompense. And since at last I have learned to laugh, I want to have my first joke with the man I have perhaps wronged most all of these years. My faithful Bob Cratchit. A wonderful day. An evening with my nephew. A deep sleep that might have lasted for days, except that I was bound and determined to be earlier than my clerk at the counting house that Monday morning. I was as pleased as a child when I beat him there. Even more pleased to find that for once he was late. When the door opened and he came in, he was a full 18½ minutes behind his time. His hat and scarf were off before he opened the door. In terror of the man I had been, he was on his stool in a jiffy, writing his pen as if he were trying to overtake the lost minutes.
Morning, Mr. Scrooge.
Morning. A little late for that. What do you mean by coming here this time of day?
I am very sorry, sir. I am behind time.
You are? Yes, I think you are. Now, step this way, sir, if you please.
It's only once a year, sir. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
Now, I'll tell you what, my friend. I'm not going to stand by this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I feel myself forced to raise your salary.
Huh? Why, Mr. Scrooge, sir, do you feel all right?
Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas than I have given you for many a year. Not only raise your salary, but discuss your affairs and endeavor to help your struggling family over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. So, make up the fires till they hot us right out of the counting house before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit. It's not only a new year, but a whole new world for both of us.
As we all know, Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. And he made a good new will for his nephew and his future partner, Bob Cratchit. One thing after a long life he took to his grave, that he knew how to keep Christmas well. May it be truly said of all of us, and as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone. What more is there to say after Dickens' Christmas Carol, except the eternal message it brings, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Our cast included Marion Seldes, Ian Martin, Evie Juster, Robert Dryden, and William Redfield. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Hey, listen. Hear that?
Singing. Of course, it's a carol concert. That's where everyone must be.
Oh, come on, let's see if we can find them. Well, I give up. I don't know where that music's coming from.
We've covered so many streets and nothing.
Yeah, no one. Oh, hey, honey, you're shivering.
I'm scared.
Well, there's a hotel across the street. Let's go there and use the phone. There's got to be one there.
This is a ghost town. Well, there's no use wandering about anymore. It's a ghost town in the middle of Ohio.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Of Campbell Soups present The Campbell Playhouse. Orson Welles, producer. Good evening. This is Orson Welles. There are clearly a number of ways in which a Christmas carol could be introduced. Myself, I am most struck by the happy fortune that enables us on this Christmas Eve to present Mr. Lionel Barrymore, the best-loved actor of our time, in the world's best-loved Christmas story, A Christmas Carol. It is the American way, as we know, to establish traditions quickly where popular instinct and sentiment pronounce them sound. And so it is that today, actually only the 5th anniversary of Mr. Lionel Barrymore's first playing of the part of Ebenezer Scrooge for the Campbell Playhouse, there is, I think, in all America nothing more eagerly awaited, more firmly rooted in the hearts of the radio family that numbers millions, than this yearly performance of A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol, as Charles Dickens wrote it, has by common consent long been a classic. Mr. Lionel Barrymore's appearance in it is rapidly becoming one. And now, just before A Christmas Carol, Ernest Chappell has a special Christmas greeting from the makers of Campbell Soups. Mr. Chappell. Thank you, Orson Welles. As the old year draws toward its close, we of Campbell's feel a bond of warmth and gratitude toward each of you, our friends. For you see, in homes everywhere throughout the land, Campbell Soups have been welcomed. Day by day and week by week, you have placed confidence in us and in the foods we make. And there isn't anything we appreciate more deeply than the fact that so many of you have elected to let Campbell's make your soups for you. And so when Christmas comes, we look about to find some way to show our appreciation, some Christmas present by which to say thank you. The gift we chose 5 Christmases ago and have chosen each year since has become a part of Christmas to many and many a family. It has become a Christmas custom to gather around the radio to hear and to enjoy A Christmas Carol. And since it is Christmas Eve, we hope, too, that the younger members of the family are permitted to stay up and listen before dreams and visit of Santa. We get a great deal of pleasure planning and preparing this Christmas gift. And now it's ready. Off come the wrappings. Off come the tags that say, please do not open till Christmas. Out comes the card, to you from Campbell's. And here is the gift itself. Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it. And Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead? Of course he did. Scrooge and Marley were partners for I don't know how many years. Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, was Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. And once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house, a grim, cheerless place if ever there was one. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open, that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, Bob Cratchit, who in a cold and dismal little cell beyond worked at his ledgers.
19, 20, 21, 22. Merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. 23, 26, 29. Christmas Day. 11, 13, 17, 7, carry one.
Bob Cratchit.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge.
Stop that infernal caterwauling.
Yes, sir. 9, 15, 17, 21, carry one.
Impudence. Singing their idiotic Christmas carols at my very door. Go somewhere else and bellow your blasted carols, or I'll give you in charge.
Sorry, Governor. It's almost over for Christmas time, you know.
Yes, and I don't want any of your old customs. Take your fellow fools and go away. Christmas. Blah.
Right, sir. Merry Christmas anyway, sir.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. A Merry Christmas, Bob.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Fred.
God save you, Uncle.
Ah, humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle? Now, I'm sure you don't mean that.
I mean just that. Exactly that. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you? You're poor enough.
Well, what right have you to be dismal about Christmas, Uncle? You're rich enough.
Ah.
Now, Uncle, don't be cross.
Well, what else can I be when I live in such a world of fools? What's Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without money? Merry Christmas. A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle?
Nephew, keep your Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it, Uncle.
Well, let me leave it alone, then. What do you want? A Christmas gift, I've no doubt.
I came to wish you a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Merry Christmas. Much good may Christmas do you. Much good it ever has done you.
There are many things from which I derive good by which I have not profited materially, I dare say, Uncle. Christmas among the rest. But I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
God bless Christmas. Hurrah!
Let me hear another sound out of you there, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. As to you, nephew, I wonder you don't go into Parliament. You talk enough nonsense.
Don't be angry, Uncle. I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I've tried. A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year, too.
Ah, humbug.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Bob, and the missus, and to Tiny Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Fred. Same to you, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day, Bob.
Nonsense. Twaddle. Lummery.
Talking of Christmas and not 2 sixpences to jingle together in his trousers pocket. You there, Bob Cratchit. Come here. What are you doing there?
I was only putting a bit more coal on the fire, Mr. Scrooge. Seeing it's so cold in there, sir.
Well, you put that coal back into the scuttle. A fire. A fire, indeed. I can tell you, if you use coal at that rate, you and I will soon be parting company, Bob Cratchit. You understand that? There's many a young fellow like your situation, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. My fingers were getting a little stiff with the cold.
Then put on your mittens. There's someone at the door. See who it is.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is the firm of Scrooge and Marley.
Yes, sir.
I should like to see the head of the firm, if I may.
Oh, very good, sir.
What is it?
A gentleman to see you, Mr. Scrooge.
Huh?
Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Marley's been dead these 7 years tonight. I'm Scrooge.
Well, now, Mr. Scrooge, at this season of the year, it's only fitting that we who are more fortunate should raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. You may not believe it, sir, but many thousands are now in want of common necessities, and hundreds of thousands are in want of the simplest comforts, sir.
Are there no prisoners?
There are plenty of prisons, sir.
And the workhouses? They're still in operation, I trust.
I wish I could say they are not, but they are, sir.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor, then?
Both very busy, sir.
Oh, well, I'm very glad to hear that. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful cause.
No, sir, all these institutions that you mention are flourishing. But it's nevertheless true that some additional provision for the poor and the destitute must be made. A few of us upon change are endeavoring to raise such a fund, you see. And what shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, I see. You wish to be anonymous, sir.
I wish to be let alone. I don't make merry myself at Christmas time, and I can't afford to keep a lot of idle people and make them merry. I help support the establishments that take care of the poor. They cost enough. Let those who are badly off go there.
Many can't go there, sir. And many would rather die.
Well, then, my advice to them is to do so and decrease the surplus population. Besides, I've only your word for it that all this is so.
The truth, Mr. Scrooge.
Well, so be it, then. It's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, sir.
I quite understand, Mr. Scrooge.
Cratchit, show this gentleman out.
Yes, sir. This way, please. Sir, I couldn't help overhearing. I should like to contribute threepence.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir. It isn't much, but it's all I can afford. But there are others in worse situation than I.
You're a generous fellow. I wish I might say so of your employer.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas. Close the door.
Yes, sir. I have closed it, sir. 24, 31, 1 and carry 3. A new scarlet tippet for Tiny Tim. And a comb for Martha. 33, 3 and carry 3. Hair ribbon for Belinda. 4, 7, 12, 15.